What's going on, guys? We're back. The camera looks weird. We got a different camera set up, but we're back for Friday night, and we are joined by a special guest tonight. We got Josh sitting in the middle of your screen. Josh is the main welder and fabricator at JCS Marine. So Chad and I have already met Josh when we were on our trip up there, but he's down in our neck of the woods for a couple days visiting some family. So we are going to, he's joining us tonight to talk about some stuff. He's got a boat built at JCS Marine that is going to turn out hopefully a lot like mine, probably just as nice, if not a little bit nicer. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the stuff that you do and some of the stuff that you build for JCS, because let me tell you, it is awesome. Some of the dead pedals, the recessed trolling motor trays, some of the custom mounts. So we're going to get into all of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Happy Easter. It's Easter weekend, so hopefully you guys are getting a chance to
He is risen.
Get out there and do a little fishing this weekend, spend some time with some family, eat some good food and all that stuff. It's a beautiful weekend for it. So but we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So Josh, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do for JCS and get right into your boat build, man. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, so my name's Josh, obviously, and so I started my relationship with JCS pretty much just based on going down there and buying a boat. I was initially going to buy a different boat from him, and trying to work things out didn't really work out, and I said, well, maybe I should look for an older Champion and get to restoring it or something like that. And then he sent me a picture a few minutes later of a 96 Champion 202, previously owned by Todd Rana, who is the owner,
famous Todd.
Yeah, he is the owner of probably the baddest Champion out there.
It's the baddest Champion out there.
Yeah,
undoubtedly.
It's ridiculous.
There's only one better.
Who's got it?
It's a special Champion.
Oh, you talking about Andy's Champion?
No, it's a dual motor.
Oh, okay.
There's
only one of them, right? There's two. Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which mic is
That's the only thing that I would say is badder than his.
That's the there.
And it still gets fished out of.
Really?
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
But you can't fish tournaments with it,
anyway.
right?
No.
Oh, okay. Who cares?
In the process of that, we ended up getting down a little bit further and talking about doing some Duradeck Marine, whole new Impulse lithium battery system, just a lot of little fine tweaks and doing hull speed coating on the bottom of it, and we got a pretty bad little build going, and I made a trolling motor tray for myself for that boat, and ever since then I've been getting calls from John about different things to build, everything from simple dead pedals to I just finished up a dead pedal full plate, floor plate, and a hot foot mount for the 20 XTC that he's building over there. And I'm just really looking forward to building some more stuff for those guys, and really looking forward to seeing my boat for the first time with all the new accessories next week. These lovely gentlemen over here.
Yeah, we've seen it.
We've seen more pictures.
Yes. We get pictures of it like every Friday.
Yeah, and I made the mistake of telling John that I wanted the big reveal at the end of the build, and he's been gatekeeping that boat for me ever since. So
It's like Pimp My Ride for bad.
And
news.
if we know John too, he's going to throw some special little twists and everything in there.
yeah.
Like he's never just going to stay like basic.
So I did get a message from Todd asking me if I had seen my boat, and I said no, I haven't seen it yet, because I told John not to send me pictures. And he said, well, I can send you a little teaser picture. And I said, okay, yeah, sounds good. So he sent me a picture. I assumed it was probably going to be something profane. I knew I was getting trolled pretty much right away. So Todd sent me a picture of the whole deck of my boat, but he took an image editor and painted across everything that was changed about the boat. With a teal blue color, which is clearly not.
What's up, Dan? What's up, Steven? Thanks for joining, boys. Thanks for the share, Tyler, if you're still watching.
Do you have a rough idea of when you're going to be able to get to see it? Like when
I will
done?
get to see it this week, because I'm going
awesome.
down there probably Wednesday, Thursday, to do some work on rigging and getting the electronics installed down there, and yeah, I'll be able to see it finally the end of this week. So really looking forward to seeing, you know, something that's been happening for the last 6 or so months. The guys down there, phenomenal. I mean, they treat you like family. They
do.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's really a true testament to what they do. It's like I showed up there one day and kind of never left. So yeah, I have all the faith in the world that what I'm going to see as the final product is going to be everything and more than I expected.
So tell us a little bit about the electronic setup that you're going to run on this thing.
So I'm just running a super simple electronic setup to start with. I have a Garmin 12-inch on the front, LVS 34 live scope, and then a 9-inch on the dash. That's all I'm doing to start with. I would like to add probably another Garmin unit on the bow, so that I can run, you know, contour maps and just simple 2D sonar. And then I would like to put a Hummingbird on the console as well, so that I can have the GPS and mapping from that. That's what I ran on my old boat, and I really liked it.
And you can't beat Lake Master mapping.
Yeah.
Lake Master mapping is, especially the new VX maps are stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're so good.
Yeah.
So what about the trolling motor? Are you going to run a Quest or are you going to run a Garmin?
I'm gonna run the straight Ultrex, not the Quest.
Okay.
The previous model. That's what was on the boat.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run that for a while. If I do upgrade, I definitely won't go with the Garmin. My cousin has the Garmin Force trolling motor, and when we fish tournaments together out of his boat, you know, when he's dealing with a retie or whatever, I can't get off the fucking pedal fast enough. I'm like, I would so much rather go fish out of the back of the boat than have to deal with this.
Yeah, that pedal sucks.
It's all electric. It's kind of like the like the Tarova kind of deal.
And then,
No. It's a lot different than a Tarova because you have an actual pedal.
Oh, okay. So it's not flat.
It's not flat. Like
Okay.
that, but
yeah, but
still sucks.
it's wireless, so it's like
There's no feedback.
I feel like it takes time to get from what you're putting for pressure on the pedal to what the trolling motor actually does. And that can be kind of sorted out in settings and different things like that. But I mean, it's very heavy. It's not responsive. That's at least my experience with that. So no, I will not be going with a Garmin Force trolling motor.
I'm not a big fan of any of the electric pedals that I've used. Lowrance, I've used Garmin, I've used Power Pole, and you get no feedback in them. Like that, I don't know, that it just feels weird to me. Like I like that, you know, being able to. It's hard to explain, but you have it just feels like you have more feel.
Yes, I would agree with that. I will say that's been the nicest thing about going to the Quest. Obviously, it's a badass motor, but like going from a Maxim, which was a true cable steer, to the Quest, it didn't feel different enough for me to have to get used to it. Like maybe the first hour, the first time I used it, and then after that, it's been like it's perfectly like that. There was no period of time where I was like, man, I really got to figure this out. Whereas if I ever when I've used the Tarova and stuff and the Altera. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Those are terrible.
Yeah, it's not even fun.
I did not mind my Tarova foot pedal that much. Like it's not that bad in my opinion.
The biggest issue with those pedals is you have to look down at the trolling motor to see what direction it's pointing. So I can't just feel it with my foot to know that the trolling motor is pointed that way. Like with a cable steer or electronic, regular pedal. Like I just know by putting my foot on it.
You're usually if your foot's down like this, it's all the way to the left. If it's all the way back like this, it's all the way to the right. Yeah.
So I don't ever have to look at the trolling motor to know where it's pointed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can just go by feel on that. That's the only reason that they.
I will say the all electronic trolling motor pedals too do tend to have some failures because they're all electronic and they're out on the water. Obviously, the Minn Kota pedal, even though it is still cable, yes.
I forgot to show you that.
Yeah, and anyone that's ever had to fish a tournament with fucking remote.
Oh yeah,
that's my 5-inch trick shed.
It finally came in.
No,
Jim always comes through.
I haven't gotten it yet, but
okay.
He just got it.
Yeah, if you've had to fish a tournament with using the remote after your pedal takes a shit, that's not.
It's
not any fun at all.
I've used my remote exactly 2 times.
Yeah, only for when something breaks down and you just have to sit there and troll the motor back to the ramp.
Yeah.
Both times is when I blew my motor up on my Champion. Like
Tom, what's up, Tom?
Two
Tom's
separate
fishing the
times.
DMV.
Two separate times that I blew the motor up on the Champion. That's the only time I ever used a remote. I was like, watch this. Take it out of the box, sit back in the driver's seat.
So I haven't even used that because, so for those of you that don't know, my lower unit decided it was no longer going to live. It committed seppuku on Saturday. So, but I don't even use the remote. Yes, correct. That's exactly what it did. And it made a hell of a noise too. Yes. But I didn't even realize this, but I don't know if it's an Ultrex as well, but on the Quest, you can actually like use your graph to control the thing. So when I was just trolling back to the ramp, I was just sitting in the driver's seat, just beep, 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 beep. It was like, I mean, it's cool. It sucks because I'm using it, right? But at the same time, I'm like, well, at least I'm comfortable. You know?
Mine randomly disconnects.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Only for my front unit though.
Yeah,
Real
that is
quick,
weird.
big shout out to our buddy Tom with Fishing the DMV who clicked off number 68 in the country for outdoor podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty
watch,
awesome.
I believe.
I don't know if you guys caught his show on Monday, but he had a special guest.
I did see that. Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Mr. Paul Batters.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. So check that out, guys. Check out Fishing the DMV from Monday. We talked about some pretty cool stuff.
But yeah, so I think John from JCS was actually on his way down here through Baltimore earlier to go pick up a bullet trailer. Is that what it was?
Yep. Picking up a trailer for that 20XDC that he's building. I drove all the way to North Carolina with the trailer. I'm like, he was an on the road trucker for years though, so I mean for him that's light work. So, but yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm actually heading out real early tomorrow. I'm driving to North Carolina for a trailer, and I'm like, God damn, dude, that's a long ass way for a trailer.
Yeah, that's a really long way for a trailer.
I would just have one built.
Those guys are also just a straight up bullet junkie. So
I'd have been like,
it
nah,
does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Let me find a good fab shop. Like, just build me a trailer.
Yeah. I'm wondering what that trailer is. He didn't say what it was.
You could have built him a trailer.
Yeah, I could have.
So what do you do? So we know that you do stuff for JCS Marine and stuff, but like, what do you do by trade? Because you're a welder, right?
I am. So my full-time job, I'm a high school teacher at a vocational high school. I teach metal fabrication and welding. Been doing that about 2 years. Probably the best job I've ever had. You know, just satisfaction of like seeing, you know, what I've worked so hard to achieve in my professional life translate down to certain students is huge. And the impact that my instructors had on me when I was in high school was what made me, you know, who I am today. So, I mean, to be able to share that and do that, you know, hopefully for the future generations is very rewarding.
What's up, Rob?
You know, aside from that, I play guitar and sing on weekends at bars and restaurants and stuff like that. And, you know, doing the teaching gig definitely has its advantages when you like to fish as much as I do.
Right.
Because around the second week in June, you are off until the first week in September.
Hell yeah.
Jason, what's up?
Pretty much from the spawn all the way through the summertime bite, I am rip-roaring and ready to go.
Heck yeah.
Free to fish if you're not filling it up with other
shout out to
extracurricular activities.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old daughter who fills up quite a bit of my extracurricular time, but now she's getting a little bit older and looking forward to getting her out on the boat and getting her out fishing.
I want to give a quick shout out to Jason Stevens, a loyal listener. He will be on his way to Dale Hollow tomorrow for the Bassmaster Kayak Series.
Nice.
I bet you he's freaking excited as hell about that.
Yeah, he's pretty excited.
Yeah.
I talked to him for like an hour on the phone today.
Go catch a 12-pounder and annihilate that record that has all that kind of shit around it.
Right. Wait. I didn't know that there was a.
There's a
Dale
lot of
Hollow's the world record smallmouth.
there's a lot of controversy around.
Really?
that.
I didn't know any of that.
There, or whether he caught it on one side of the lake or the other, or whatever.
Or if it was even 11 pounds.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Look up some of the stuff that Ken Dukes talked about.
Is it like a Mike Long level deep story or not really?
No, it's an old record that's probably not legit. From what I understand. Yeah.
Wow. It's very what does that date back to?
It's like
1960
40?
something, right? Oh, it's
40?
that old.
No, it's ancient.
Wow.
So I mean, we're talking like,
I'll tell you.
not a digital scale by any means. It would have been a weights and balances kind of scale, which I can't say those are inaccurate because they worked.
55.
55. So I mean, those kinds of scales worked great for how long before we came out with digital scales, but
I mean, but
To be a world record, wouldn't it have had to have been like double checked somewhere else though?
it's different requirements then.
and back
Right.
then they just didn't like bass fishing was not. This guy had the fucking thing probably on a
I
string.
think it's 11.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
probably.
Probably pulled it out of the lake with a rope attached.
11,
to it and
11
waited.
15.
11 pounds, 15 ounces.
Yeah.
So almost 12
Almost
pounds.
12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, you got guys that chase smallmouth all over the country, specifically looking for a 10-pound smallmouth, and they're fucking not catching them. So
There's a 10-pound smallmouth in Conowingo somewhere.
Definitely not.
There might be a 7 in December, maybe.
There is one lake in Idaho that multiple 9s have been called out of the last 4 or 5 years, but nobody's cracked 10 yet.
Dude, some of the hammer ones that Josh Jones has called, it's just like it's got to be cracking that like real
They're
close
9s.
level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's another guy, Joey Walton. Have you seen him? He's a guy that fishes out in that Idaho region, just specifically looking for giant smallmouth.
Yeah,
And
he's on
this dude catches
He's on that one lake that nobody will name.
Yeah, an 8-pounder for him is that's light work. It's nothing.
So there's a lake in Idaho. The people who know what lake it is, they don't tell other people.
Because they don't want Milliken to show up.
Josh Jones has fished there. Milliken's fished there.
He literally goes there every year.
But
Josh Jones goes there every year.
even Milliken doesn't say the name of the lake.
they'll come after him with torches and pitchforks.
I have a feeling that it was it was kind of a hey, I'll tell you where this is, but you cannot tell anyone.
Oh yeah, every single picture there is either just
Pitch black dark.
either pitch black or just a bluff wall with no even horizon in the background, or they just edit the whole thing out with paint.
Yeah.
Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, the biggest smallmouth I've personally seen was a 7-pounder at Moo Mall. And that was it was like seeing a Sasquatch. It was insane. You just holy shit, what is that?
Well, they had that 9.5 that was caught in Cayuga.
Dude, yeah.
2 years in a row.
That's becoming a bucket list lake for me. How far is that from you guys?
It's I actually don't live in Rhode Island. I live in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
But, in reference to New York or Vermont and West, you guys are kind of the same distance
Really?
as I am. For you guys to go to Cayuga, because
It's 6 hours.
Massachusetts
to Cayuga, right?
is northeast of where you are. For me to go all the way northwest, it's probably about the same distance. Because what does it take you guys to get to St. Lawrence?
What part of
7.
St. Lawrence?
What's that?
What part of St. Lawrence?
If you were to go,
Clayton?
if you were to go to
7,
Clayton,
a little over 7 hours.
right? So Clayton from my house is 6.5.
Yeah. So it's
So
not
it's really
closer.
Wow.
So
okay.
the further west you go, the closer you guys actually are.
I can't tell you for certain how long it takes to get there because my dad is as much of a tackle junkie as I am, and we stopped at literally every tackle shop on the way.
When I drove to Black Lake, that was about 7.5 hours, and we're a couple miles away from the Alexandria Bay region, which I think is a little bit north of Clayton.
Yes.
So that was about 7.5.
It's about 7
And
hours to
it's
Clayton.
not a bad drive either. You're just up 81. I mean, it's just rolling.
It's a nice drive. What's the swim bait culture like there up there? Yeah, what's the swim bait culture?
Oh,
like
dude,
there?
it's I mean, we had the New England New England Outdoor Expo, which was where I got this sweatshirt, Big Bass Dreams,
Oliver
which is
and I.
big swim bait.
Did you see Oliver and Vic up there?
I didn't.
Is before? Is that the one?
Rorschach.
Is that the one? Did we just spill some major beans on this show?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything.
Somebody look that. Hold on, I'm looking that up right now.
But swim bait
in-
culture.
it's
Swim
in
bait
Idaho.
culture is huge. Like at that outdoor expo, I mean, I would say probably 70% of the booths, tables, whatever you want to call it, were all big swim bait.
That's crazy.
We had custom manufacturers, guys there. I mean, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts. There's
So-
guys that live and die by that shit.
It's crazy
comparison-
that it's that big on the East Coast because the big swim bait movement originated like over on the West Coast. You
Yeah.
know, out
Well,
like
Yeah.
what I
near
find
Walmart,
crazy,
like-
what I find crazy about that, like you're saying, like it's like 70% of this expo.
He says sorry, not sorry.
I went to the Richmond Expo in Virginia back in January, and there was literally one swim bait.
No shit.
Phony Frogs was there. That was it.
Well, they did. So On the Water, you know, like On the Water magazine. So On the Water magazine did like a special on big largemouth bass in Cape Cod. So Cape Cod is a phenomenal place to go fishing. Like if you guys come north at all this summer, like Cape Cod, if I had anywhere to recommend, it's like any of the ponds on Cape.
Really?
They can be extremely tough to fish, but when you have good days, you have really, really fucking good days.
Is it like a tidal fishery, or is it just a bunch of like
No,
smaller
like
lakes?
we don't really have, as far as like fishing for largemouth bass or smallmouth bass, freshwater fishing, we do not have any tidal waters to do that.
So
there's a
even in-
couple like the
okay.
Taunton River and like stuff like that, but we really don't have much for tidal waters because everything
more
becomes
striper
and,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
and it becomes so brackish
Yeah.
that like freshwater fish do not really hang out there.
So when we were driving up, when me and Chad drove up, we're going through Connecticut, like not right, like before you get into Rhode Island from Connecticut. I can't remember the river, but it's like when you're driving along 95 and there's like
probably
that
the Connecticut
sound.
River.
I think it is the Connecticut River, and it looked super bassy. But I'm like, so
the
they're
Connecticut
fishing
River
there.
definitely is a big tournament place.
That's got to be tidal, right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of guys that fish that, like Todd from that, owned my boat previously.
So-
he does a lot of fishing on
Tidal
the Connecticut
bass fishing.
River. Yes.
Okay.
But like down there, we have a lot of we have a lot of kettle ponds. We fish a lot of junk. You know what I mean? Like we're fishing. We have all kinds of people that are trying to eradicate milfoil and all this shit, ruining some of the fisheries.
Sounds like New York.
Yeah, so somebody just commented Cape is full of herring lakes. That's what we have. We have herring runs. So these herring will run up from saltwater up into the freshwater, and sometimes they'll make it into ponds. Sometimes they go into like little tributaries. What do we got?
Oh my god. Tom says it's true. Fishing the Delaware River is as painful as receiving a colonoscopy from a cactus.
Yes. Yes, Tom. It is.
I've never fished there. I never want to fish there.
Never fished it, and I
Six-
probably won't given that.
6 foot tide swing.
That sounds like fun. Chloe's
Chloe.
got the jackhammer with the tail going right now.
Chloe, come on,
Like
stop it.
there was so when they had the Bass Nation Regional up there one year, Jedry was telling me a story about that, and he found they had all this like flooding and they were like all this high water, and he found this rock bar that was loaded with fish in practice, and he's like, holy shit, like I can win this tournament from here. Runs up there the day of the tournament, and there's not water within like 4 feet of it.
Nice. That sucks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's fishing the Delaware River in a nutshell.
So
So
when
anyways, they did On the Water magazine did that big bass on Cape Cod thing, and it was all revolving around these guys just throwing big swim baits, and it was even in like ponds that have no boat ramp. You can't get a boat in there. They were either fishing with waders or fishing out of a kayak, whatever it might have been. And I mean, they were putting up like 8-9 pounders.
Wow.
In the middle of winter. Fishing big
There's probably a
swim
lot
baits.
less pressure on those places because you can't put a boat in them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like that 10-pounder that I caught down here in a pond on an Alabama rig. You
Yep.
know, like the same stuff still works in a pond.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And you know what it does? Jim makes a good comment. All the north and this out west, they get all these swim bait shows, and they don't get shit down in Florida. I wonder why, because Florida
You'd
is
think it would
like
be
one of
better.
the fishing capitals of the United States of America,
Right.
and
Big bass.
obviously
Like,
Jim
obviously.
is a living proof that the freaking swim baits get chewed down in Florida.
And they have big bass there, right? I
Big
mean, big
bass.
Florida strain bass,
Yeah,
right? You would
big
think it
old
would be
F5s.
like swim bait central, kind of like California is.
I think
but-
it's just too much vegetation. I mean, it's harder to
True.
work that bait.
That makes sense. I mean, everything down there has vegetation, or, well, it did until they sprayed it all, but that's a different story.
Tom says there's an 8-9 pound smallmouth in Raystown. I would probably believe that. I've seen tournaments. There's a club. I think it's called Trolling Motor Only or something. They used to run tournaments out there. 3 fish tournaments, taking 17, 18 pounds to win. All smallmouth. It's just like holy shit. It's wild. It's crazy. It's amazing like how good certain fisheries are, like close to here, and then you go there and it's like, where are they at? You know what I mean? Because it's like.
Well, that's like
It gets inflated, you know.
so.
What I mean?
Take somebody who's never fished the bay before and
Oh,
put them
yeah.
on the bay, and like look at the tournament that we had today. I mean, it took 20 pounds to crack the top 10.
Yep.
You take somebody who's never fished the bay before and put them out there, they're probably going to struggle. You know, so it just takes time on the, you know, to me it shows just like how good a lot of the pros are, the ones who don't get information.
Yeah. Right.
No,
Yeah.
not naming any names, but
Yeah, not
you know,
naming any
it's they can break down a body of
Name
water
names so
in
bad.
We tend to do things like that around
Yeah.
here. Name names.
Yeah, like guys that family owns marinas and stuff. Yeah,
oh, yeah on Okeechobee.
yeah,
His daughter fishes for the Alabama fishing team. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No big deal.
It's the same way still up here too, Jim.
But no names.
Yeah,
no
no.
names.
Dude, my favorite thing was watching Fighter on with Dave Mercer, and he asked him about like the DQs or whatever, and he's like. He's like one of them I think got the wrong end of the deal, and the other one's been doing that for like 30 years, so whatever. And he's like, but Matt Herron's a really good guy. He just, oh man,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, if you get your own polygraph, I mean that's
Our buddy Jim is very vocal about that person being from Florida.
yeah. So if you get your own polygraph,
They're best friends.
the guy that gives you the
So-
polygraph, would it be the same guy that you pay the information?
Here-
Or
I heard the Luke
Where
Duncan.
there's smoke, there's fire.
So Luke Duncan
Right.
had the best explanation of that getting your own polygraph. It's like getting pulled over for a DUI and telling the cop you're going to go get your own breathalyzer.
right.
Yeah,
Essentially,
I don't
yeah.
trust the results of this. I'm gonna go get my own.
It's complete crap.
Yeah.
It's complete crap.
Like, you
Guys,
don't
if
know
you're
what's-
watching
you
right now,
don't-
hit the like and the share button for us.
You don't know what was, you don't know what questions were asked. You don't know, like, you just don't know anything about it. It could have been that maybe he really did get a lie detector. And the only question they asked was, is your name Scott Martin? Oh, I passed. Like, you can finagle the results, like that. So, like, I don't, to me, like, that just screams guilty.
So I heard something interesting today. I was listening to. I mean, legitimately, all I do is like I very rarely even like listen to music anymore. I'm either listening to some kind of fishing podcast, some kind of tournaments, live streams, like whatever it might be. And I was listening to one on my way here, where the guy said, if you want to make this to like the most even degree, like you just cancel all pre-practice and only give them the 3 days before the tournament. He's like, because then what's going to happen is the guy that figures those fish out in those 3 days, he's going to be the guy that goes. He's going to be the guy that goes the distance. And while I don't agree with that in some aspects, I also think that like that's a pretty cut and dry.
It is, yeah.
You
I mean, I don't disagree with him. I feel like sometimes from like a safety perspective, like allowing pre-practice is good. I mean, if you've never, like Santee, you've never been on Santee before, I feel like that's a good place for somebody to pre-practice just to figure out where they can run.
Right.
Because it's a death trap.
Oh, yeah.
Pascatank's the same way.
I watch those guys and I'm like, holy shit, like I see him running full pad and there's like stumps all around him. I'm like, how the fuck do they know where to go? Or full grown trees and they're just like whipping in and out of them. And I'm like, I would be shitting my pants, dude.
Shit, you wouldn't want to fish around some of these rivers then.
I mean, it just goes to like, there's certain pros, like that don't take the risk. There's certain pros don't buy their boat. Just don't do it.
Oh yeah.
Like I heard a story of a pro, and I won't mention his name. He's very well liked, but at Winyah Bay, he was going into this creek, and the water dropped, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to get over this log here." And the marshal is just looking like, that log that's completely across and this far out of the water," and he just like pulls up to it, gooses it, and then gooses it over top of it, just boom, boom, like over top of this log.
Yeah.
Like goosed it to get the nose up on top of it, and then went boom, and just slid the boat, right over top of this log.
I mean, I think it's funny when you see like the guys at the end of the year that are like, "Oh yeah, I'm like selling the rig from this previous year, great rig, this and that," and like then you go on like the Bassmaster photo gallery, and you'll just see them like stuffing a wave from like 60. Oh, yeah. Everything's falling off of the boat.
Like Matt Robertson's boat last year on the St. Lawrence, where it ripped the wrap off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in perfect condition.
Well, that was like our buddy bought our buddy Fishing for Dollars that bought
he bought
Milliken's Camus. He said that thing was put through the ringer. Still a nice boat, but it was, I mean, he used it.
But it was,
Joe says, "Where's Miles been? Did a striper eat him waiting for AJ at the ramp?"
That's funny.
I should see Miles tomorrow.
I mean, but to be fair, he also got that boat for like $15,000.
Oh yeah, which is a ridiculous price. Absolutely ridiculous.
You can't really like go there. Now on the other end, my buddy bought Greg DePalma's boat, and I mean it was pretty well taken care of. So like it can be hit or miss.
Tom has a good question
with it, but
Tom says, "What do you guys think are the top 4 hardest places to run a bass boat?"
The Great Lakes, all of them.
It depends.
Just because of the big water. I mean,
so if you know how to run big water, the Great Lakes aren't that bad.
If you know what you can, boat.
If you know what you can handle, and what your boat can handle. If you want to say like what's the hardest to run, Santee's up there.
I was going to say.
I mean, it's literally stumps everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say with all the stumps from the. What kind of trees are they that has those those cypress trees with the big knots just like come up in the water?
Cypress knees.
Yeah.
Champlain. I don't know.
Champlain can get
I've seen Champlain get really fucking ugly.
I don't know that what are we talking about? Like rough water? Like are we talking like the roughest places?
Well,
because like on a good day, like Champlain, it's just
it's
just another lake.
But the other thing is when they get flooded. So I was up at Champlain 2 years ago, and it was when they had all of that northern flooding, like on the border of Canada, northern Vermont. And dude, when I tell you there were debris fields the size of a football field with full trees, stumps floating like. So I'd be running wide open.
What was one of the elites last year ripped their motor off?
Yep.
Yeah. That was in Wisconsin, wasn't it?
No, it was on Champlain.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Was that the West Logan one?
Yeah, West Logan.
Yeah, that's right.
Ripped his motor off. Hit something that he didn't even see.
Yeah.
And that's any place that how bad Conowingo gets. So Conowingo, it's just a small lake or just up from here, and it gets like that. I would say but if you're talking like hardest overall, Santee definitely. Santee with the wind blowing, yes, because you can only run the boat lanes there, so you have to run against whatever the waves are throwing at you. If they're coming from the side, that's how you have to run. Like you can't change it. Fork's not great, but they have pretty well marked boat lanes.
I've heard Fork's pretty treacherous.
There's standing timber everywhere.
Yeah.
Rayburn's kind of not quite. I wouldn't say Rayburn's that bad. Rayburn's pretty open. There's a couple of areas that have some standing timber, but for the most part, you can. It's pretty easy to run. Toledo Bend's really bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Chester River. Because it's not marked. And you think the river channel is in one mud flat.
I would say that my top 3, I would not include the Great Lakes, simply because on a calm day you're good, right? It's not bad at all. it's not bad all the time. So my top 3 would be Santee, Fork, and Toledo Bend.
Joe always comes up with some
I've heard
fire comments.
Oneida's not marked as well as you would think either. Well, I've never fished it. I've heard a couple people say that Oneida, like, it's just not marked well. I tell you, the St. Lawrence is not marked as good as you'd think either. Like, if you're in Alexandria Bay, when we were running up there last year, we ran over a huge boulder. And thank God we were idling on the way back, and I was looking. I was like, "Hey, there's a rock there." We ran over the spot. I'm telling you, it had 6 inches of water over top of it. And on the map, it's very clearly said, "Yeah, it's fine." It's like, holy shit.
There's a couple places on Conowingo like that.
Yes, there's a lot of places on Conowingo like that.
And just a couple. I mean, there's really not that many. Like, as far as, like, if you're looking at the map and the map says there's 10 feet of water, and there's, like, if the water's down, there's only a foot of water over top that rock.
And there's probably a log on it or something.
There's like 3 or 4 places that are up there that are pretty bad. But yeah, like, overall, I would say Santee, Fork, and Toledo Bend, just because there's so much timber.
I was actually going to say Three Forks down in Florida. That's a notorious place. Because when I was down there 3 years ago, we were thinking about going there, and we were talking to one of the locals at Headwaters, just striking up conversation. I was like, "Hey, do you know anything about this Three Forks place? Because we're thinking about going." And this guy's like, "Great fishery, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to ruin your boat, like 100%." It's like a John boat, airboat place. I mean, there are some guys that know it that will run big bass boats and everything, but even if you know it, you can only fish certain parts of the lake. Like, you just can't get
idle,
to
idle only.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Three Forks is nasty.
Like you said, like Champlain, like, when the wind blows, like, if it's blowing from the north or from the south on Champlain, it sucks. Like, it's treacherous. You get like a northwest wind on Ontario. Done. Like, like, it sucks. I've fished in it. But it sucks. I mean, we were fishing in 6-footers a couple years ago. It wasn't that bad because we were catching 4-pound smallmouth like every cast.
What about Candlewood? You ever fish Candlewood?
I fished Candlewood one time, and it was the worst fucking 2 days of fishing I've ever had in my life, and I haven't gone back since.
I've heard
that place can be really good.
Oh,
like,
it can
for
be unbelievable. There were there's guys that have made a living just guiding there.
Joe.
Like,
wow.
Joe Zombek destroys on Candlewood.
Well, he's from is he in Pennsylvania, or is he in New York? Okay.
yeah,
He's got that badass Sterling. It's a nice boat.
But again, like, from what I understand, it's only really good in the wintertime.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, pretty much anybody that I know that fishes Candlewood a decent amount, they all say the same thing. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really bad.
It's like Wallen Paul packs like that too.
Where's that at?
Sounds like around here sometimes.
Pennsylvania.
Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes they won't freaking eat anything.
Eastern Mountains. What do you call those mountains up there?
The Appalachians?
No.
I don't know.
Get down.
Poconos.
Poconos, yeah. It's in the Poconos.
That's like, what, 4 hours away? Something like that?
It's 3.5. It's not
Okay.
that far away.
That's not too bad.
But it's kind of the same way. Like, when it's good, like, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. But you could say the same thing about some of the places around here too. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it's like that anywhere. I mean, I fished a place a few weeks back, and we went out there. We were out there for 3 hours, and me and my cousin, probably between the two of us, caught like 35 fish. It was great. And then we went there for a tournament last year, and I caught 6 fish in 8 hours. So it's like, it can be good, it can be bad. I mean, it's like that with any fishery, but I would say that, Candlewood, as far as I know, has definitely gone downhill over the past several years, especially since I've been there. When we were there, one of the guys that guides out there said, "This is the worst year I've seen on Candlewood since I've been fishing it."
Wow.
Any reason or?
I don't think at that point there was any rhyme or reason to it. I think some guys might have figured it out since then, but I don't even really bother with it anymore.
I don't know if it was like a grass, like a grass kill type deal.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that these lakes, like, they have cycles, whether it's spawns or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I keep waiting for the bay to go on that downswing, but it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like every time I'm like, man, it can't get any better. Right? 2 26-pound bags. Nope. It keeps getting just next year just blows it.
It is kind of wild. It really is kind of wild. And like the Potomac, the same kind of way. I mean, the Potomac, the big bags haven't been
That's
as
definitely
big.
it's definitely down.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, it's still like you go down there and you can catch 3-pounders like all day. I mean, it's
Right, but is that? I mean, compared to what it was 6 or 7 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, where it took 22 to 24 pounds to win a tournament, and everyone had 18 to 20 pounds. You know, it's definitely not there. It's definitely dropped from there.
Yeah, the interesting thing, like you talk about the bay, like how localized, like the up and downward swings can be. I mean, because like you take that fish kill on the gunpowder in 2016, like the gunpowder has up until the last 3 years was brutally tough. Well, maybe last 5 years.
And then it got good, and then all the grass died, and it sucked again.
Yeah, it's like what the hell. But the bay has just been steady Eddie. I mean, like it's like the
Grass.
yeah. I mean,
It's all about. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see the
Hey,
same thing.
Deborah.
You'll see the same thing on a lot of lakes, and like your New York lakes.
Yeah.
You know, when the grass is good, the fishing's good.
So like, where you guys up there? Is it mostly largemouth dominated, or is there like usually a good mix of fish?
It's pretty crazy because like we have a really good mix on a lot of places, and then some places, like I said, we fish a lot of junk. We have some ponds around there that are really good that only have an average depth of 6 feet, 7 feet, and we'll catch them in 6 inches of water, all largemouth. And then you go down to the Cape, and that's where you'll find some smallmouth. There's an area like Plymouth. Plymouth has a lot of ponds that run some pretty good smallmouth. Cape Cod's definitely where you go to catch the bigger end of those smallmouth around me. And then from there, I mean, you can head north. You go to Winnipesaukee or Champlain.
I was just getting ready to ask you if you fish Winnipesaukee.
I have not fished Winnipesaukee. Winnipesaukee is a fucking nightmare. Just the sheer amount of recreational boats out there. And I feel personally like there's places that I would rather go than there. So that's the reason why.
Frank, actually, his PB came out of Winnipesaukee.
Largemouth or smallmouth?
Largemouth. In a Bass Nation regional in like 2000, like early 2000s. And it was blind. It had no eyes.
No shit.
Yeah.
shit.
It was I think it was 9 pounds.
Wow. What
Yeah,
about Sebago? You ever fish there?
Sebago? No, I haven't fished Lake Sebago.
I heard that place sucks.
Again, it's one of those places that's just so huge, wide open, tons of recreational boats. And when I say recreational boats, I'm not talking about just wig boats. I'm talking about like 30+ foot cigarette boats doing, 90, 100 miles an hour on the lake.
There was a there was a Bass regional there, and the guy from Maryland who qualified for the Bass Nation Championship.
We catch like 2 fish a day,
Caught
right?
four fish in 3 days.
Yeah. Yep. I remember hearing about that.
I mean, he caught 2 5s. He caught a 5 each day of the first 2 days, and then caught like a 5 and a 2 on the last day, and that was that one for Maryland.
Yeah. No, there's
it's
some really
stupid,
good
like,
places
how-
to fish in
fuck that
Maine
place.
though. Like every year we go up to this lake, Lake Arrowhead. I've been going up there every year since 2009. My dad, my uncle, and some of their buddies, they've been going up there for the last like 33 years. And every year we go up there. We have like a pot throughout the day. We usually have 4 or 5 boats, 2 guys to a boat, and we'll go up there. We fish Wednesday through Saturday, and then we head home Sunday. And I mean, every year the big fish generally is like 5 3/4 plus. But I mean,
Fucking Jim.
I actually have. I'm gonna show my dad this video. So I actually have the biggest fish that's been caught there since they've been going up.
Nice. Nice.
7.1
Hell yeah.
pounds. So it's yeah. I mean, up by us anyways. Like an 8-pounder is like a fucking unicorn.
Yeah.
like an 8-pounder is a unicorn.
It kind of is here. I mean, you see them.
An 8-pounder's definitely a
Anything,
unicorn
yeah,
here.
anything. Once you hit the 8 mark, you around here you don't see that very. I think that's just more of like a northern strain thing.
You don't
Yeah.
even
You know?
see 7s like super often.
This year
been,
you do.
There's been 2 to 3 7s caught in every tournament held this year,
It's kind of crazy. It's kind
Still,
of
like I wouldn't consider that like.
and I caught 1 2 Sundays.
I
heard
still
somebody-
wouldn't consider that like common though.
I
Well, that's
heard
kind
It's not like going out there and catching a bunch of threes. Like, you know what I mean?
I would say that's pretty. That's common. It's not like 8. Like you might see 1 8-pounder in a year, maybe if you see one at all.
We've seen
Yeah.
9s and 10s get weighed in out here before.
We have.
Doesn't happen all the time.
But it's
doesn't
almost
happen.
as, it's almost
I would
as
say,
often
like,
as
yeah,
the 8. though.
Anything an 8 and above, seeing that
yeah.
is
Yeah.
very very rare.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean-
like I said, I think maybe it's a northern strain. You know,
I think
here.
I think it is just because like we don't have the genetics aren't built like that. But I mean like you catch a 7-pounder up by us and that thing's built like a brick shit house. You know what I mean? Like it is an unbelievably solid
Yeah.
fish. Like you're not catching a 7-pounder and holding it up and it's got this giant bucket mouth and this sucked in body. Like you catch a 7-pounder and it is an
got
extremely
shoulders.
That's how the-
healthy,
the one-
shoulderful fish. You know?
the one I caught 2 weeks ago was built just like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was this wide across
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah.
You know, it's so we get kind of the same here. Again, I'm assuming that's just a northern strain thing, because I mean when we were when we were in Texas last year, you catch a 5-pounder down there and it's got a mouth like this, like so maybe a difference between those Florida strains and northern strains, but
Jim,
10
3 to 4 pounds up by us is like like you pretty much like if you get a 4-pounder like that's staying in your live
lunker.
like it's staying in your live well. Like you're like you're not even gonna bother with a cull tag on that because you know that's sticking around.
So
Here it's like a 5, like a 4. You're still putting a call tag on because there's a lot of those out there, so we might have to get rid of that. But like you catch a 5 and you're like, like that's staying.
Yeah. But funny story about that 7-pounder I caught in Maine. So a buddy and I we went out and we were having a fucking shit time for like the first 2 hours we were fishing, and we said, you know what, screw this, we're gonna get hammered, right? So we went back to the house and we mixed legitimately a gallon of vodka cranberry.
nice.
Like a gallon, like a gallon jug of vodka cranberry. We went out and we got fucking
just did some drunk fishing. and
absolutely
enjoyed it.
annihilated, right? So we were heading like back towards the end of the night, and we're like coming through a no wake zone, and we see a deer swimming right across the no wake zone, and I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. I'm like, pull up by this tree right here. So like I started skipping a Senko at the tree and realized I only had like 7-pound fluorocarbon, and I was like, yeah, that's not, like, I gotta be careful with this, right? So I grabbed straight braid with a wacky rig Senko and pitched it into a tree, and this thing bit, and I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck this is, and then it came over the tree and like breached its back, and I just started losing my shit. I'm like, you need to get the net, I'm freaking out. He grabs it and puts it in the boat, and like both of us are just like jumping up and down, screaming like little, because I'm like, how does this happen? Like I don't think we've caught more than like 2 or 3 fish the entire
What's
afternoon.
up, Andrew?
And now we just like, all right, this is good. And you know what? We came in with 2 fish, and we had that 7-pounder and like a 1-pounder.
Nice.
That was it. But, yeah.
Don't forget we forgot to see, we got busy talking to you and we forgot to come up with a trivia question.
Chad
for
has
tonight.
to
So
I
dance.
came up with it already.
You already got one?
Yeah.
Oh man.
What's up? JCS Marine in the house. I can only assume it's either John or Russ. Could be Adam though. What's going on, John? Hope your drive is safe, man.
JCS.
Jim says, see, braid's the way to go.
Wait, how come I have to dance?
Well, down in Florida, can't.
Well,
Down in Florida, can't you
Wait,
just throw
Andrew,
braid all
seriously,
the
why
time,
do
like-
I have to dance? What did I do that I have to
looks like another piece of
Because I
grass.
will. I'll dance.
He said he sent
wonder
100
why.
coins. I don't know what the coins are though.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Now you have to.
What is 100 coins?
I don't even know what that means. It could be like it could be like a nickel, and I have to like.
Do the peanut butter jelly time one. That's
He gives
easy.
stars. Ooh.
What's a peanut butter jelly time?
When you eat some maracas.
Look out the screen. Peanut butter jelly time.
There it
Pretty
is.
much it, dude. That's pretty much
Jelly
it.
time, peanut butter jelly time. No way yet, way yet.
See, you know exactly what it was. You acted like you
Please.
didn't know, but you knew exactly what it was.
He goes,
That
what's
gets-
that?
That gets clipped and goes into a reel.
Well,
Yes,
the best
that-
part is we get to watch it again.
Right.
On the delay. That is getting clipped and going on a reel.
Nice.
Like that needs to be posted.
Nice. Well, it's almost that time. In about 5 minutes, we're going to do our tactical fishing giveaway. So,
Yeah.
like and
Tactical
share,
trivia.
Tactical trivia. Yep. So, like and share. Get some more people in here so we can make this fair. But we got a question already written out, and whoever
That'll be
wins,
We've got
Great.
tactical trivia, and we've got a care package. To
That's
open
true.
up.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
So I guess we'll do that right after tactical trivia or tactical trivia. Mm-hmm. Okay. So tactical trivia for those for anybody who wasn't here last week, our newest sponsor, Mr. Andrew Blair from Tactical Fishing Company, is giving away.
Boom.
You will be getting a $25 e-gift card to his website to get yourself some pretty awesome baits. I've been fishing them quite a bit this year. I really like a couple of his baits. I can't tell
Yeah.
you which ones. It's a secret. I don't want anybody else around here to know.
It's the battle bug.
Maybe. I'm that.
You
yeah.
can't say that he's our sponsor and then say you love some of his baits, but I can't tell you which ones they are.
I can't say which ones they are.
Gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping.
I gotta have some kind of advantage.
You guys just need to go to tacticalfishingcompany.com, tacticalfishingco.com,
Just buy a pack of each.
and buy all of them and try them for yourself.
They're all good. They're all great.
And yes, Jim, that is how I make the extra mullahs. I dance in the evenings.
No, the
You think he
best
just has those shorts for no reason?
for real though. The bomber bug is. I'm gonna let you keep saying battle bug. It's bomber bug.
Sorry.
Thanks, Chad.
Sorry.
I don't know why. I knew it was the bomber bug, and then you said battle bug, and now I keep saying battle bug.
It still sounds really nice, though. The battle
So the
bug.
bomber bug is probably my favorite jig trailer. So there you go.
He
There's
says,
your
but I'm gonna keep on letting you say battle.
there's your juice for the night. The bomber bug is probably my new favorite jig trailer.
That and the swag stick.
The new swag whatever it's called.
I think it's the swag stick.
What is that?
Swagger stick.
Stick
Something,
bait?
yeah, it's just a stick bait.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That did save my day the other day.
The new speed.
It's a
worm.
bug
Ooh.
and it works.
The
and
new
flows.
speed worm.
The new speed worm.
Yeah, I want to try.
I've never
those.
thrown
If you
a
come,
I've never
if you
thrown
come,
a speed worm in
if
my
you come
whole life.
fishing with me on Sunday, I will let you try it. How about that?
That I'll make that deal. I'll take that bet.
I have two, like literally two
That's it.
of the prototypes. Yeah.
Okay.
So when are you expecting to get your boat back?
So this is actually, unfortunately, this is my last Friday for about a month. So next weekend I have duty, so I won't be around. And then the subsequent 2 weekends taking me into May, I'm going to be in Iowa for a training event. So I took my boat to Propeller Dynamics, and we can get into that a little bit. We'll get into that after tactical
Yeah.
trivia.
Okay.
Yep, we'll get into that after tactical trivia because I don't want to go super late. But yeah, we'll get to that afterwards because I got some juice on that shop, dude. That is a awesome shop. But at 8
Jim-
o'clock we're gonna rock and roll.
Jim, it's going to be fantastic for Florida. You will really like it. It is the perfect size for Florida fish.
He says I'm ready. 6 laptops loaded on Google.
Well, it's 8. Are we ready?
So for let's do the tactical trivia, I guess. Are we ready? You have
You
the
guys
question,
ready?
Chad?
Here we go. Here is the question for tonight for tactical trivia. I came up with this all on my own since we were talking about swim baits. So here we go.
Who helped refine and popularize the big swim bait movement in the 80s and 90s?
probably the most famous swim baiter in the world.
Yeah, I feel like I know that one.
This
I
one
didn't think
should
I was
be
gonna
easy.
know that
Who's
one.
that?
I can't say.
Yeah, I know you can't say that.
All right, let's go. First winner.
I feel like Joe is going to win this one.
First one to get it gets a $25 gift card to tactical trivia.
Straight ahead, right there.
Jim's typing it in on all 6 laptops right now. And
Oh,
Joe,
I knew Joe was
Yeah.
going to win it.
Joe's got it. Joe
Joe
is the
wins.
winner for tonight.
Joe,
Damn, Joe knocked it out of the park with that one. He
Yeah,
is
for real.
absolutely correct. The
I was just
answer,
typing that out to show you. Like I did. I'm proud of myself because I knew the answer. To
the
that.
answer is Butch Brown. Congratulations, Joe. You won a $25 gift card
But-
to Tactical Fishing Co. And we're
Butch
gonna,
Brown was one of the populators and helped refine
The pioneers.
and the pioneer of the big bass community or the big bait community. But the
Design the
original maker of the original big bait is Huddleston.
Yeah. Well, Butch Brown helped design the Huddleston.
Yes.
Yep.
so I have
Well,
a
now,
question.
to be fair, if you want to talk about the big baits, actually started before the Huddleston. If you want to get technical, so
If you want to get technical, yes.
the AC plug.
yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
It was a striper bait.
Uh-huh.
That was like the original big bait that people started throwing for bass. It was an 8-inch. It kind of looked like the combination of a cigarette butt and an MS Slammer.
So where does the Rapala jointed minnow fall into the big bait category?
It doesn't. It's not big enough.
It doesn't. Joe, you've been
Not even the big
you're a
ones?
loyal watcher. You always watch in on the show. We appreciate you, and
I mean,
we're definitely going to get. We'll
have some
hit
of
you
those,
up
yeah.
on the on Messenger to get your details.
But I don't think they. I mean, I don't think it never really fell into the big bait category because it was never. I mean, I don't think they came out with the really big ones until like the 90s.
Oh, really? Okay. Was that later? Was that much later?
Maybe 80s. Probably maybe 80s for like musky, like the musky guys.
Yeah, it was like stripers, musky, pike guys were throwing them. I have a couple. My uncle used to swear by them, dude.
Speaking
He'd be
of-
throwing those things in Canal in Joppatown.
Did you?
Like-
Speaking of musky, did you see that picture that I sent to the group chat the other day?
I don't think so.
I said wait till your swim bait friend realizes that he's been paying $500 for $20 musky baits.
Yeah,
It's true.
I think I did see that one.
That was the most wild thing to me is seeing all those.
Look,
tables,
Joe even knows Joe knows what an AC plug is.
seeing all those like swim bait tables at that expo and just seeing how much people spend on those things. And I'm like, dude, if I spent $300 on a bait, I'm telling you right now,
I'm not throwing
I
it.
would go to cast that thing and that thing would snap off into the fucking woods.
Yep.
First or second cast.
Yep.
Let me find it.
Or like you're gonna be throwing it, waking it, and like an osprey's gonna come and grab it or some
Oh, yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did when I fished down at Okeechobee. I did catch a bird, and our guide like made me reel it in, and then he just grabbed this thing by the. Oh
John,
my god!
the coffee milk is in the refrigerator.
That was in a tackle shop in Texas.
What is that? A mother or something?
Yeah, Mother Chaser,
Oh yeah,
$1,100.
yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah, our
And someone's
guide.
gonna throw that?
yeah.
Some people will.
Swim bait guys are
No,
retarded.
Steve Kennedy's gonna buy that. He's just gonna. Did you see that episode of The Village with Steve Kennedy when he was going through all of his
Oh my
baits?
God, it's-
You could see this dude just like zone the fuck out, and it was like he wasn't even there. He was having like an outer body experience, just like going through all
when
the
he-
shit that he had.
When he left that Clear Lake tournament, like after that was like his first time throwing big baits. He said he spent $30,000 on swim baits.
Holy shit.
I feel like
$30,000.
I feel like I'm close to that. Not really,
Insane.
And John, none of them knew what linguiça was either. So,
but what? Yeah, what's a linguiça?
dude, it's like it's a ground up pork, but they put like a special seasoning in it that like it's phenomenal. It really is. Like you could take like the ground linguiça and put it in with like like scrambled eggs, or
Just
you
tell
can
Frank
make
to call into the show.
or you could make grilled cheese with linguiça or whatever it is. Like that linguiça cheese roll, like I said to you the other day, like I got up at 5 a.m. and went to this little Portuguese bakery, and dude, the place was like packed. 5 a.m. Place is packed. Like, and yeah, it's a big thing up by us, and yeah, coffee milk. That's you're gonna take one sip of that and be like, what the fuck have I been missing?
Right.
Like if I'm telling you.
We got some of the coffee milks are in the fridge. Can't forget them before you guys go home too.
And I got them Aruta's coffee milk too, so it's legit.
Yeah, from Adam Aruta's family.
So before we bust open the care package, I want to talk a little bit about my boat situation and the experience I had down in Propeller Dynamics, which was very, very good. So running the boat Saturday, and so when I was building the boat, working with John, obviously, John and JCS, I decided to go with a used 250 XB. You guys are all pretty much aware of what's going on. I got it for very, very affordably, knowing that I was going to sell the 225, so I have very little investment in it, even at this point. And I know that if it continues to not perform, I can sell it for what I basically have in it, minus what I sold the 225 for, and pretty very, very close to breaking even. So long story short, Saturday I was out running around. Lower unit decided it was done. So I trolled back to the ramp, loaded it up, and decided I wanted to take my boat to Propeller Dynamics for quite a while to help me with the setup. While it's down there, it's going to get a hydraulic jack plate because it needs it. So why would you not? So we're going to get the hydraulic jack plate. Those guys are going to really go through that motor, which is something I should have had John do, and I just never had him do it. I should have done it because I was being a little. I'm definitely a little frugal. So I should have done it there, but I didn't. So
really
I'm gonna
way to
have.
say cheap ass.
Yes, I'm a cheap ass, and Chad will tell you I can make 2 pennies scream.
Cry. Maybe even jump off a bridge or something of that nature.
So I'm gonna have Morgan and those guys down there go through it, and he's basically he's gonna call me in the next week or so and just be like, hey, I went through it. This is what I think of the motor outside of the lower unit problems, and if his opinion is this thing's you're probably going to continue to have issues because of its age and maybe how it was maintained before I got my hands on it, I'm going to go with a 4-stroke at that point, if that comes up. Now, obviously, it's got to be, there's got to be a good reason behind it, because even a reman lower unit's going to run me like $2,500 in that neighborhood. A new 4-stroke's going to be a lot more.
I'm still thinking you should just slap a show on that move.
So that's what's, everything's possible.
It looked real nice on the back of
Yes, it would. It would look really nice on the back of that boat.
Anything's
Black and
possible at this point. And it's going to depend on what makes sense. And, if he goes through the motor, he's like, hey, this motor's great. It runs good. You just got to fix the lower and you'll be good to go. Then that's what we're going to do. So, definitely got some options at this point. But I'm not going to be around till middle of May. So we got plenty of time to figure it out. I will say the shop down there was really, really cool.
John says show for show.
Right. The shop down there was really cool. And I had a chance to actually get to see some falcons, which I've never seen in person. So that was pretty cool.
How are they? They look nice?
They are nice.
Yeah.
So the one thing I noticed about the Falcon, and I don't know if it was just aesthetically, the front deck is extremely wide and it's massive, but it's short. Like, it's a shorter front deck. Like, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, if I was building a Falcon, I would cut off some of that floor space.
Like a little chode deck.
I definitely wouldn't say that.
Tune can deck.
I definitely wouldn't say that. It was really, really nice, but like I felt like it could have had another foot of deck coming back. Like I feel like with an 8-foot rod, you're going to be, or like a 7-11 flipping stick or an A-rig rod or something, it's going to be hanging off the deck. Not a huge deal by any means. It's just I thought there might be a little bit too much floor space in that boat. I mean, what are you really doing with floor space anyway, right? The cool thing is I got to check out a brand new, never been in the water, Bullet XST.
Ooh.
So the brand new Bullet.
Phone down.
The brand new one. So the XST, it's the same hull as the 21 XRS, so 21 foot, 10 inches. But it has a different front deck. And what they've done is actually take out some of that floor space, brought the front deck back further. It has a modern layout. So like if you're familiar with Bullets, a lot of the older ones, they had the step latch, which actually is it's a weird looking thing. It's cool, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of storage. But that XST brings it back, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, sleek looking boat. And they say it runs just as fast as the XRS. It's still going to be with a 250 and a a pretty moderate load. It's going to run in the 70s. It's probably going to maybe have a chance of touching 80. With a 300, it's definitely going to be running 80. So it's still a fast boat, but it has those modernizations for that to be able to fish tournaments. And it's not overcomplicated. Like, you don't have the touch screens, you don't have any of that crap. You still have rocker switches. You still have the simplicity of Bullet with the modernization of newer boats.
Did they redo the console like to
accommodate
the layout
grass?
to accommodate bigger units?
Yeah,
and stuff?
so that to my knowledge, that came with the XRS. I think they might have done something a little different with the XST because the top cap is different. It's similar to the XRS, but it's different. But I was very, very impressed with that boat because it still has that Bullet look. But then when you're standing over top of it and you're looking at the deck, it's like, wow, this is a tournament fisherman's rig. Whereas if you look at an older Bullet like a 21 XD or a 20, it's like, okay, there's adequate deck space, but it's definitely smaller than, like a Ranger 521 VX has a lot more deck than mine. But the Ranger 521 VX is never going to see 70 miles an hour. Mine's going to see 80s. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, but that XST was really impressive. Very, very, very impressive. And it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap. But I was pretty happy with it. I got down there. I drove down there on a Monday. It's really not bad. It's like 3 hours. I walked through it with Morgan. We sat down. We walked around the boat. He told me, hey, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're thinking. And then we'll go from there. So I'm hoping my goal is when I get back in middle of May, a day or two after I get back, I'm going to drive down there, pick it up, and I'll have a boat that's ready to go and dialed in for my loadout to be able to run those speeds and get the performance I want out of it.
Plus, you're putting the bobs on it, right?
Yes.
So that's going to help you with
Tremendously.
tremendously.
And I'm going to
because
go
you're
an
gonna be
extra,
able to adjust it.
and I'm going to go more setback. I'm going to go 14 inches, maybe even 16, depending on what Morgan recommends.
Yeah.
So that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, that is going to help a lot, especially being hydraulic, because then like you can adjust it for if you have another person in the boat.
Right.
Because like my boat runs completely different if I put a second person in the boat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like drastically different. If I'm by myself, like if I want like top end, like I mean, I jack plate to the sky. Like I run 16, 17 on an Atlas. If I have another person in the boat, I have to run it on like 8 or 9.
My boat's slow as shit no matter what.
Is your boat, Josh, going to have a hydraulic jack or no?
Not initially.
Okay.
Not initially.
Does it have a manual?
Yeah.
What about lithiums?
So I have I put in a full set of impulse lithiums, two 36-volt lithiums for the trolling motor, and then 120 amp hour lithium for the house battery and electronics.
Cool.
Yeah.
Joe, I can't remember, but I believe Tohatsu is like basically a Honda.
I think Tohatsu makes the Honda's smaller motors,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Like something of that nature. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with those.
Like I know
Tohatsus.
Honda doesn't like. I'm
They
pretty
just look ugly
Terrible.
as shit.
90.
It's a Hatsu. It looks like you ordered the motor on Temu.
But
I'm 90.
they work.
Probably.
I'm 95% sure that Tohatsu makes all of Honda's motors under 25 horsepower.
But they also make some bigger ones too. Daihatsu also makes like 250s.
Tohatsu's got 250s.
Yeah, I'm
first-
not buying a Tohatsu 250.
Dude, the first time I saw one of those big Tahatsu motors, it was on that show Swamp People where they fucking
Oh yeah,
Pop the elevator.
I remember seeing
and
that.
that dude Troy Landry had a fucking
Shoot him,
tiller.
Elizabeth!
Dude,
Shoot him!
shoot him! Yeah, he had fucking like a 225 tiller motor on the back of a flat bottom aluminum boat, and he was just fucking hammering it.
Then the guy who looks like Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
He's got has like a 250 Merc 4-stroke on the back of his tiller 250 tiller.
So Joe, I also thought they were Mercuries. I thought they were Mercuries that were essentially made in Japan under a different parent company, but it's the
Probably
same motor.
Tohatsu.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like they actually just basically purchased the Mercury design
know what?
and build it over there. But we have smartphones, so
We
we
have
can look this
Google.
up. Right.
Dude, you know what's a really good looking
Who
motor that they
makes
just changed everything about
small-
that made it good looking? It's a Honda.
Yes.
Seen the new Honda?
Yeah, it's got like
outboards?
the grates, the vents and stuff. Yeah, those do look good.
They sleek that out to make it look pretty nice. So now you're gonna get the reliability of a Honda motor.
Just looking at a Honda, a 2.3 Honda looks like a Tohatsu to me.
Oh, sure does.
Just saying.
Sure does.
Are they Mercuries? Or are they okay? So maybe they're Mercuries over Honda.
I wonder if John or any of the guys up at the shop have ever seen
Oh.
any of the Ghost motors.
So the other way around, big Tohatsu motor.
Ghost motor.
the underboard, the Rotax Ghost.
Oh,
Travesty.
that ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So we were actually backwards. The big Tohatsu, according to Reddit, take that for what it's worth. The big Tohatsu engines are made by Honda.
Oh, really?
So there you go.
They're probably solid.
They're,
I can't. I will never forget watching Swamp People, like you were saying, and seeing
Yeah.
Troy Landry had a custom boat built, and then he put a 250 tiller
Yeah. Oh,
on
yeah.
the back of it. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's probably got like steering assist, hydraulic steering,
yeah.
or whatever on it, because like there's no way you could hold on to it if it didn't have.
Oh, those big
Like
those big tiller motors are serious. Like
yeah, that's
like the
ridiculous.
technology in them.
Yeah.
yeah, that shit's crazy.
It's
I can't
essentially
even
power
imagine
steering.
having- yeah, I can't even imagine having 250 horsepower outboard that you're
And you're
fucking
just steering
with
it like this.
Yeah.
Or what about those guys in Thailand that have like those little canoes that they put like a
With the
12
big
valve
diesel
coming
motor.
one?
With the long tail.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They like get airborne at like 200 miles an hour or something
The like
ridiculous.
1,000 horsepower long tails.
There's no way people don't die doing that like every time.
On a surfboard, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like on a surfboard.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
They got like 1,000 horsepower diesel motor on a surfboard.
No, I mean, but for what it's worth, like in Tony, in your situation, it's like, I think that, you know, what you're doing is the right thing. Like, you figure out if this motor is going to be able to be what you want, right?
Right.
And then, if not, you go with something that you really want. You
Right.
know what I mean?
To be fair,
Yep.
with the amount of gas that motor burns, like you'll pay for the 4-stroke in like 2 years.
Dude,
As much as
oh
you
my
fit.
god. I thought that like I knew it was gonna burn some. I knew it was gonna burn.
You
some
had to
gas.
pull out and get gas at Anna.
Yeah. Yes.
Lake Anna's only like 8 miles long.
Yeah.
John says if they die, they all smiling when they go.
I was like, I will say, like, I knew, like, you read the forums, it's like, they're going to burn some fuel. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, like, you run it, and you go from one spot to another, and it's like,
I burned a quarter tank of gas.
Is my shit screwed up? It's like, holy shit, I burned a quarter tank of gas. Like, I don't think I could run to the flats and back with that thing without stopping and getting fuel. I really don't think I could.
It's not that far. It's only 50 miles. I would hope you could go 50 miles.
You can
I
watch.
don't know, dude. I really don't know.
You can watch his
25
gas
there and
gauge go
25
down
back, or
as
50
he's
there and
freaking-
50 back?
25 on
Okay.
back. 50 round trip.
I would be on fumes. I'd
50,
be on fumes
50
getting back.
60, somewhere like that.
So forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Nuala?
Nuella?
Nuala? What is the... Why do they need such powerful motors, other than the fact that the boats that they're using and the cargo they're carrying is so heavy? John says no way with that XB.
Well, I think he's just saying that they need a powerful motor
The use of powerful
because
motors
they're
is
like,
necessary.
because of they're carrying like all their decoys, their decoy sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude.
And like
Yeah.
some of those guys, like I mean, they're
Or hauling alligators.
yeah, that true. That too. I know he had said something. I thought he said something about. Oh no, it was Joe that mentioned the duck hunters. Like the duck hunters, yeah. Like I can understand. Like
I see a
when
lot
you-
of duck hunters that use the
like you got 100
the mud
decoys in there.
skippers and stuff.
You got 100 decoys in there. Like that's not light.
No.
I watched a video of this guy that these guys were guiding on the flats, and they use 1,100 decoys for a spread.
Yeah.
It takes 3 boats to set the spread. It's like,
That's
what?
So that's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's some parts of waterfowl hunting that I don't understand, like resident goose season. You can kill one freaking goose. So you go out there in a field and you set up all these damn decoys and you shoot one goose and then you have to take it all down. Like,
But it's fun.
it's not. How is it fun?
You
To shoot, you shoot one goose.
You get to sit in the water when it's 9 degrees outside.
It's fun. It's fun for about 13 seconds while the goose is flying in, and then you shoot it. And then before that, it sucks ass, and after that, it sucks ass.
I can attest. I don't
know. Watching
I can
people
speak for
watching
this.
people get stuck in the mud's pretty funny.
But I think you can.
That happens a lot.
I know.
I think they changed it. You can kill 2 now.
So every year's weird. Every year's different.
They change it each year with whatever the freaking
That's like
goes
people that
numbers are in
do.
the
That's
area.
like people that do ice fishing. Like I'll tell
No.
people I love fishing, and they're like, "Oh, do you do ice fishing?" I'm like, "I don't drink alcohol anymore, so I don't get a fucking point."
Right.
Like
Non-alcoholic.
non-alcoholic, man.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir.
Like, yeah,
Like-
I'm the same way. Like,
So I'm
people
like,
ask
how
me
the
that all
fuck
the
am I
time.
gonna like? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sit there and freeze my ass off and not even catch a buzz? Like,
Or to catch crappie. Like,
Right.
I like crappie fishing.
yeah,
I don't like crappie fishing that much.
right.
Can I get
Right.
one of those 9s, Paul? I'm out of 6s. You're my best friend. Thank you. Yes.
You're definitely going fishing with me on Sunday.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't worry about myself.
I'll spot you.
We got a care package to open up.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
So,
Ooh, it's like Christmas.
so tell us a
got
little
some
bit about
weight
this
to
care
it.
package.
Yeah,
That thing's got some weight to it.
it was not a light care
Get
package.
a JCS sticker. JCS Marine.
We did not know this was a thing either. Like Josh
we
just
had-
showed up with a box. He's like, cool.
We had no idea John was sending us a care package from JCS with Josh on the way down here. So big shout out to JCS Marine and Russell, Adam, John, Josh.
Fishman.
Boatman.
Yeah. Boatman, and then Shane. Don't forget Shane too.
Yeah, forget Shane, Todd.
Yeah.
Todd
Look at
was.
Jim. Why them guys don't have hookers in them huts?
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we open this,
They do.
before we
They
open
do.
this, who would win a debate, Todd or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Todd.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
100%.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's one of those things where like, you know, the big guy might be able to like beat the smaller guy down to the ground, but if the smaller guy's on the ground going "fuck you" the whole time, that guy still wins. And I feel like even if Neil deGrasse was winning the argument on a legitimate basis, Todd just not giving up would win.
My woman just liked the podcast. Hi, baby.
When Todd
Spend $100,000 to smoke a bird that's worth $4.50 a pound at the grocery store. I can smoke my bag of Canadian geese, run them over with a golf cart at the local golf place. It's true. It's so
I remember
true.
we were up there and like when Todd told me that he dug a pond in his backyard so he could have his own oysters, I was like, "Whoa, he's serious!"
And
about
that was the first time I had oysters.
Like he's
too.
not kidding. Like
Todd's
he actually did that. I was
homegrown
like, "Whoa!"
oysters.
Like,
That's pretty
awesome.
wild.
Yeah, dude,
that's-
oyster farming up our way is like a very, very real thing, and it's pretty fucking cool.
It's
Like-
crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, by the way, they were like some big ass oysters too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have to,
We,
like,
we just
do-
have like wild, like ours are like our oyster market
do you
down
have to
here is
like
all wild,
feed the
like wild.
pond?
We don't really
Do you have to like
farm any.
feed the pond so the oysters have things to grow off of? Like, what do you put in there?
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know that you have to pretty much, it's like a garden. You like seed it with like baby oysters, and then they cling on to pilings or whatever it might be.
So you have to put stuff in there for them.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like,
yeah. You have to do. There's like a specific oyster habitat that. Needs
Yeah,
to be
you gotta have like
created.
reef type material.
Where's
like,
Todd when you
hard.
need him? We'd have like this massive description of how to do
Oh, yeah.
oysters right now. Like,
Yeah.
ask
But no,
anyone who's
he's-
ever hit an oyster bar on the bay.
what's in this box?
Yeah, what's in this box?
Can we open it?
It might be. Yeah.
There's a bunch of
That'd be
Well, Russell. Russell
like,
showed
a bunch of like
fucking
bunch of
I'm
whipped
like,
cream
I'm
and
just
shit.
like,
comes
glitter
out.
I'm
bomb.
slowly backing
It's
up
just like-
because Russell showed me his glitter cannon that he has. In so I'm just slowly backing up from the box. No. I
Step
watched him
one,
put it
cut
in
a
there.
hole in
It's
the
just
box.
it's a giant glitter bomb.
It's a whole bunch of shit.
Step one,
Oh
cut
my
a hole
gosh,
in the
there's
box.
so much stuff in here.
Well,
Well, first things first. This is mine. Check that out.
Woo! Saucy, dude. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
How many are in there?
There's enough for you guys.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, these fit really well.
Sorry,
Like,
Andrew.
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
it's a flex fit hat, but with the snaps on it. You know
That-
what I mean?
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
has the
yeah.
flex fit sides, but
There you
has
go,
the
Andrew.
snaps,
We'll
too.
leave that. We'll leave that right there.
This is awesome.
These are sweet.
These are
These
really
are
nice.
really, really comfortable. I like that they're black because they don't just get freaking dirty as hell.
Yeah.
See if it'll actually fit my big ass head.
And obviously, a huge thank you to John and the crew for doing
it on,
this.
that flex really came into play.
Yeah,
So
because
comfortable.
I have a giant fucking head.
Yeah,
These
me too.
shirts
I got
there,
a
look
big
at
ass
this
head
shit.
too, dude. I'm like
Nice.
where my teeth-
Yes.
I
We got-
got three. I got 3 snaps. On this
Let's
with the
pull some
flex
stuff
fit.
out. We'll show it off to the camera.
Some
So we got
hoodies.
some hoodies. Nice.
Here, I'll
The
feed- I'll
JCS
feed-
Marine
I'll
hoodies.
feed you some shit.
Feed it up.
All right, so those are the hoodies.
These hoodies are awesome too. But I have one of these hoodies already, and these are incredibly comfortable.
That
That's
is.
that's freaking awesome.
There you go.
Does it say something underneath of that? Nice.
Just one more boat, I promise. Don't forget the back.
So is that like that's like John's own shirt, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
That is freaking awesome.
I feel like that's like John's motto.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look,
I
this
will
one
t-
just happens to be a large, my size.
That's awesome.
John,
Very
you're
cool,
the
dude.
man. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, you did
What
not
else we
have
got
to
in
do that. We really appreciate it. That is very cool.
We've got this one's awesome. We have shit show fishing.
Nice.
Nice.
That's badass.
That is
pretty cool.
freaking awesome.
Dude,
there's so
that
much
is-
shit
oh,
in
that's
here we
awesome.
could freaking sell them for John. He's got a whole store.
We got
he's got
a nice,
the long
got
sleeves.
the long sleeve t-shirt.
Nice.
Well,
He's got
that
the
one has
long
to go to
sleeves.
Paul. That one's got to go to Paul.
There's enough for all of you and everything.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
really?
Oh yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Dude,
No, like I said, this was not a light care package.
there should
Wow.
be a. John says there should be a schmedium for Tony.
Nice. The man
Yeah.
knows me.
And then you got the short sleeves. But you guys like the
Jim.
you guys like
Jim
to
was hoping that,
divvy
like, a
all this
giant
shit up,
blow-up
'cause
doll would pop
there's
out.
a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
And you got the
We
short
got
sleeve.
some short sleeve.
The
Hell yeah.
short sleeve t-shirts.
Yeah, you'll have to count out whatever's in there, but I'm pretty sure
JCS
there's
Marine.
Pretty sure there's like
Hoodies.
2 or 3 shirts of
Nice.
everything for
That's an awesome
I
shirt.
mean,
Those
here,
color-
you hold this up.
That is an awesome shirt.
Danny over on YouTube says those colors match his Skeeter FXR 21.
JCS.
Hey Danny, check out JCS Marine Restoration. They got all the stuff for you, man. And if you're in the New England area, you definitely should take your boat to them because they will trick it out.
Forget these
Even if you're not,
badass
take the
JCS
ride out.
hats, man.
I'm digging this hat.
This is a really, really nice hat.
I haven't taken it off since I got mine, so
It can't like
I feel.
I don't know. This is my like tournament hat,
Uh-huh.
but
Wow.
Jim,
John,
Jim
can't
my
thank
new-
you enough, man. Thank
feel like
you
this would
so
be my
much
new-
for this,
my
for
new
thinking
everyday.
about us on Josh's journey down here, and we will make sure that we represent these shirts well. I pretty much wore my JCS hoodie all through the winter. I had
Yeah, you
several
did.
comments about it. I wore it all the time.
Jim,
Yeah, I will-
Jim hit the nail on the head. Jim says that right there shows what kind of guys they are. Much respect. Couldn't agree more, man. Could not agree more.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit before the show about the customer experience because, yes, you do some work for them, but you started out as a customer.
Yeah.
And like my customer experience there has been unbelievable, and you said the same thing too. So,
And we went up there, and John made us family basically right away. I mean, we walked in the shop, and it just kind of felt like, it wasn't like one of them things where you were kind of just like, ooh, I should just, I can't
Like you just
touch
walk-
anything.
like you
I
walk
can't
in
do
your-
this, I can't do that.
it's like you walk in your
and it
buddy's
was-
shop.
Exactly.
yeah,
Pretty
100%.
much, man.
and I mean
100%.
realistically, like I showed up there to do something for John, met you guys, and now here I am sitting
Right.
Yeah.
in the room on the
And
podcast.
that's right,
I mean it's
We connected with
And you
Josh
watch
up
us like
there.
every Friday, which
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
appreciate.
And that's like, I mean, the whole thing is like, it's all about how you treat people, right? So it's like the way you treat somebody is what you're going to get back. So if you treat someone with respect, like John or any of his guys, you're going to get that same thing back, right? If you treat him like an asshole, he's not a pushover. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
Right.
You treat him like an asshole, you're going to get the same treatment right back. But at the same time, he's got a crew full of guys that know their shit. Give them the respect that they deserve, and you're gonna get treated with the same respect back, and they will make you a happy customer. you know, there's not many people out there, or not many companies out there like those guys, in the respect of just, you know, having that kind of, like, the small crew of guys that work there through the busy season, the past couple of months, they're working 7 days a week to try and get everybody's stuff sorted out for the season. And, you know, give them a little grace in getting back to you and stuff like that, especially in the busy times. They got a lot of stuff going on, but I promise you, you will not regret giving your business to them.
Oh, hell yeah, Danny. You're down the Middle River. All right.
Ooh, you need a JCS shirt.
Yep. So Danny says,
Saw us at Mariner Point. We gave you a YouTube channel. Been listening since. Appreciate it, Danny.
Thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
If you're out if you're always out on the gunpowder, one of us is usually out there like every evening.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You will.
I'm out there like Tuesdays and Thursdays.
you know what the crazy thing is?
Mondays,
we're
Tuesdays,
like,
something
we're
like
like
that.
only 2 months away from Thursday nighters too.
Month and a half, 2 months.
2 months. It's usually
months.
end of June.
Yeah, 2 months.
So we're really
I think it's
not
June
far.
19th is the solstice this year.
This year.
Yeah.
Oh, so 2 months in a day. Very cool.
Do you guys run like nighttime tournaments, or is it like a couple
3
hours?
hours.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a nighttime tournament would be kind of fun though.
Do they do that
Around
shit down
here, fuck
south
that.
all the time?
Too much shit to hit.
You're not wrong, but that kind of just adds a little bit of that extra edge.
Like I would say on I would do it on Conowingo, except there's so many like floaters on Conowingo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I would
Maybe on the flats. I do it on the flats.
I would feel better fishing the flats or the gunpowder over Conowingo just because of the floaters.
What's the worst that happens on the flats? Like you run up on a sandbar and get stuck. Like
I guess.
you don't.
So I know when
don't jack
when you're
anything
like
up.
running down the back channel, there's that one rock right before you get to Swan Creek that's like 30 yards off the bank.
Oh, the rock jetty and right in front of Father Martin Ashley. Yeah.
I believe so. Like I have no idea where it is exactly, but I remember barely missing it one time in the John boat, and I was like, "Holy fuck! There's a giant rock right there."
Well, it's a whole fucking rock jetty that comes out.
No, not that. There's like when you're getting back to where you're about to go around the point to go back into Swan Creek, like 50 yards before you start making your turn to go around, like there's a big ass rock where you would not think there's a rock at.
I've fished that in like from that bank all the way around that point like hundreds of times, and I've never seen a rock there.
Well, I can promise you there's a rock there because I almost hit it.
Wow. I've never seen it either.
And rocks don't float away, so it's still there.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I would do a nighttime tournament on the flats. We've always wanted to do that. Yeah, so me and a couple of guys in my club, we've always wanted to do like just go out one night like during like full moon, you know, when it's not pitch black dark out, and just go out on the flats and go fishing, you know, in the, like middle of the summertime, you know, when it sucks on the flats,
Right.
You know, and during the day because it's 1,000 degrees and the water's 97 degrees.
Right.
And just go out at night because we know those fish eat at night on the flats during the summer. So like just go out there and just throw like
Time to go out
massive
there and throw some
topwaters.
big rats.
Yeah, exactly. Throw just like big whopper ploppers and rats and buzz baits and shit. We've been talking about doing that for a long time, just never have.
Well, speaking of dangerous tournament conditions,
Yeah. I guess we should talk about that.
you know,
Hey.
obviously, like, that's not anything you ever want to see. People losing their lives
No.
out with their
Yeah.
fishing. You know, thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected by that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've seen a lot of talk about that, obviously on Facebook, and it's like with anything, right? Like something happens and everyone just like immediately goes to their
Jumps to
keyboard
conclusions.
about how this is clearly what happened, and it's like, look, and here's my thing, right? You can say a tournament organization has a level of responsibility, and to some level there is some level of responsibility. However, it always comes down to the person like running the boat, doing whatever it is that they need to do. I remember I fished a tournament on Kentucky Lake in 2018. 200 boat tournament, college series. 3 boats in a college tournament sank. 3 of them. And I don't mean swamp. I mean sank. One of them was a Norris craft with a 2.5. It's the only one I've ever seen in my life. And I remember they towed that thing in, and it was upside down, and all you could see was they actually tied it to the the buckle on the underneath where you hook it up to the trailer, and that's
see
all
the-
you could
See
see.
the motor sticking, like the motor sticking up.
The trolling motor, because the rest, I mean, it was coming in
Oh,
like
because
that.
it was like that down
It was
to
upside down, like it had sent. Like they had sent someone down there to clamp it, and it was like, I remember at that time, because I ran in an 18-foot Ranger, I was like, how did those guys do that? Like, it was nasty, but it wasn't unsafe. I always will say, like, and I think we, you had a good comment earlier during the week, is like, look, people at the end of the day are responsible for their actions, right? And this guy, I don't know the guy, and I take it none of us do, is going to live with this for the rest of his life, and that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of a thing.
Now, he was an angler from MLF that
He was fishing
Flint-
the
Flint
MLF
Davis.
Invitational. Flint
Flint
Davis.
Davis. And that's it's a pretty popular name.
No,
I've
you're
heard his-
thinking
I've heard his-
Clint Davis.
I've heard
feel like
Flint
I've heard
Davis's
Flint
name
before. Yeah.
He was out. I think he did a thing with Mark Zona, if I'm not mistaken. One of Zona's shows.
See, it's hard to like. I would have to go in and look because their names are so similar. I mean, you have Flint Davis and Clint Davis, so like,
But at the end of
just
the day,
just hearing, but regardless, like whatever happened,
another
like
boat doing 60 miles an hour.
It's not good.
Bad things.
I mean, he's lucky that he's even alive.
oh for sure.
With an accident like that, and
But it's one of those things. You put it perfectly. It's an accident.
yeah,
Accidents happen, and until we know the facts of what actually happened, like that's all it is it was a tragic accident. And we don't need to be jumping to conclusions, trying to place blame without knowing the entire story.
right.
yeah.
We always
GPS on your boat is not radar.
Yeah, he was on Zona.
Yeah.
Martin said it was on.
You know
Was
what-
that
you
the-
know what I
He's
mean?
the guy that did the shoal bass. He
Yeah.
did the
Was
shoal
that
bass
the guy
episode
that was in Brian Latimer's video a couple months ago?
I don't know.
Because there was a Brian Latimer video that came out like 2 or 3 months ago, and they were catching shoal bass on the Flint River in Georgia. I wonder if it was the same guy.
Probably. He's
Belet is very adept at catching shoal bass himself. So,
But he was on this guy's boat. It was a river rig. It was like a little tin boat.
Joe says my biggest accident was getting married.
Damn.
Yeah,
There
an
you have
accident is something that could have been avoided. You're right, but it wasn't. Like I've been in a car accident. You've been in a car accident. Mm-hmm.
I almost got in one driving down here.
Right.
Not here to your house, but
it's one of those things. Like we've all been in car accidents. I mean, I almost died in a car accident. But could it have been avoided? Yeah, I could have not fell asleep while I was driving.
Right.
Should have drank a Red Bull.
Right. It should have drank some more water that day. I was dehydrated. But hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
So yes, they could have been avoided. You could have done this, but you can spend forever talking about what you could have done.
This was the accident that happened on Smith Mountain. What was the
Not Smith
accident that
Mountain.
happened?
Smith Lake.
Smith Lake.
Lewis Smith Lake in Alabama.
What was the accident that happened in the MPFLs?
So there was an accident in the MPFL where an angler hit a pleasure boat at approximately 50 to 60 miles an hour. He has been charged with reckless operation of a watercraft.
Motor vehicle or
I think a watercraft. And that was a case from the report that I read from the local news that he was not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So
looking down, looking at his graphs.
So did Flint Davis get charged?
checking
Nothing's
the
come
old-
up on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's-
because I saw that, and I guess I wrongfully assumed that was to Clint Davis. So
No,
Flint
it was,
Davis.
that was
That was the other one. Okay.
I can assume. I would assume that something eventually will
There's-
become
yeah.
of that for sure.
Yeah.
It
Three
just
people
hasn't
don't
come out yet.
Three
You-
people don't
yeah.
lose their lives without the one remaining person having some sort of.
Was
Was there only 3 people in that entire
There
boat?
was 4 people on the boat.
Gosh.
what about Flint and his, I guess his marshal or his co-angler.
He didn't have a co-angler.
He didn't
So he was solo.
He was just him in the boat. Yeah.
Okay. So, we said it before on this show. It's like, why? Like, if you were to tell me, if I wake up tomorrow and see that
No, people do not run radar on bass boats. Not that I know of, unless it's something.
Well, yes and no. There's guys that will run radar on the Great Lakes.
Okay.
It's not like maybe. Yeah. No,
It's
they
just
don't-
not. I know.
I think it's a space thing and it's
So-
a weight thing.
There's a couple of guys fish the Great Lakes. A couple of I know Iconelli was one of them, and he actually mounted it in his rear seat post.
Really?
Yeah, so that he could keep track of the weather coming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Coming.
up there, especially.
Yeah.
Now, what about this? Like, would you guys be surprised if you woke up tomorrow and saw a news story that there was a boat head-on collision at the hairpin turn in Days Cove?
No,
Well,
I wouldn't.
Like I was saying in
I
the,
can't believe it hasn't happened.
Right.
like I was saying in the group chat. That's one of the reasons that I don't like, especially on the weekends. I don't run. I don't run the canals at all. There's too many blind turns, and you can come around that, and there might be a kayaker or a john boat, somebody fishing. I almost hit somebody
Boats
on
don't
that.
got
on
brakes,
that
man.
Right, exactly. I mean, I ended up I beached my champion on the sandbar. If you're coming out of Days Cove, you're making the right hand turn. That sandbar that's over to the left, I beached my boat on it because I came around that corner, and this was in the week. During a weekday in the evening, and I came around the corner, and there was a john boat anchored in the channel fishing. So I came around the corner, and I just went off to the side. I just beached my boat, and he was all apologetic about being in the channel, and I'm like, not your fault, dude. I'm not supposed to be running here.
Right.
Don't. He was super apologetic, super worried, that.
You're not supposed to be running there, but we all know that the best way to get across Days Cove is you have to run Days Cove.
But at that point, you could sit down at the corner.
You can sit down at
That's
the
what
corner.
I-
It's very
I-
deep
that's
right
what I
there. You
do.
have like a 10 or 12 foot hole right there.
8-9 feet.
I'll sit down at the corner and peek out, and then U-turn and then run it. Just because I'm telling you, every time I go around that corner, there's always that thought in the back of my head, what asshole's flying down
Every
this thing?
single time, dude.
Yeah.
Every time I come up
Look,
there. You know how much I go back in that area.
I look at it
Every
this
single
way.
time. It's just
Pucker.
you gotta set it. You
Every
gotta
time
set
I
it
go-
down and slow down. You gotta be ready to go into the bank
I don't even
or
fish
go
there
off
anymore.
to the right.
You know why I don't fish there anymore? Every single time that I've went back there at a
It's a
tournament,
fucking
I
parking lot.
fucked up my boat. I've jacked up a prop. I've knocked my skeg off. Every time I've went back there. So I don't even practice back there anymore. I don't
Yeah.
I don't even fun fish back in there.
It really
I can
is-
catch fish. I can catch fish anywhere else in the gunpowder. I don't care.
To
It's
Danny's comment, it really is the only way to get across, unless the tide is up super, super high. I mean, that's just what you have to do. And it's basically one lane.
hydraulic jack plate, baby.
Yeah,
Get out there on low tide.
hydraulic jack plate for the win, but still,
Just takes a long time to get out of there.
it's one lane basically. You know what I mean?
is.
To even
Especially on low tide. I mean, the channel to run
Yeah.
back there if you're on low tide.
What
is this-
channel?
it's this wide.
exactly.
And it's only 6 inches deeper than everything else.
It's a foot and a half deep on low tide.
Yeah, and you got to be in it.
It's you get out of that out of that channel that's 3 feet wide. It's 6 inches deep here and 6 inches deep here. You're going to get.
I go back there all the time, and I still don't even know exactly where that channel is. I just kind of line it up and freaking go. I have a mark that I look at every time, and I'm like, I'm going straight for that.
Brian,
This is where-
Brian. That's another good point. But kayaks don't make sound, and
Yeah.
if somebody's kayaking out of there, that was back there, I don't want to take the chance of,
Right.
I generally don't have a problem with kayakers. In general, there
When
are
you're
some-
in the channel and you can float in 4 inches, I have a little bit of a problem with you.
yes, sometimes I have a problem with them when they do stupid stuff. But if somebody's paddling out of Days Cove,
All the time.
it's the opening is narrow, on one end, on both ends, right? So, you can't really blame a kayaker for being in the channel when it's only 20 feet wide.
Who goes back there and shoves the bamboo in the mud? That's like once
Which
a year
way?
somebody goes back there and shoves bamboo up near the duck blind and then across Days
That's
Cove.
that's Nick Steen.
Nick Steen did it on the for the duck blinds, like out the one
Okay,
out there. A couple of years ago when they were back across Days Cove, Michael Duarte did that,
and then they tore him up.
The
A bunch of people just ran them over and pulled them out.
No, they pulled him out.
The guy with the campground pulled it out.
And then he put up a sign.
And then he put
in
up
the
a no
mouth
tra-
of it that
he
said
put up a
no
no trespassing
trespassing.
sign.
Yeah, it was great. It was like, okay.
That was the one you took a picture of, or I took a picture of and sent it to you.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that too.
Wait, so who the guy that owns the kayak place put that up there?
Not the
no trespassing
the
sign.
campground. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I pulled that out of the mud and threw it back in the weeds.
Yeah, because
I really did. I pulled that out of the mud and I threw it back in the weeds.
Because
So,
it's not like
to
first of
whoever
all-
you are, you.
So first of all, it was in the water, and on the side of the channel that's state property. Like, so get the fuck out. Like,
Right.
stop putting your signs here.
Anything in the water is fair game. Period. I don't care about your sign.
Unless
I just put
it's
your
APG.
sign back where it belongs.
Unless it's APG, and that's nowhere near it.
It's a navigable canal. Like, you can't block it off.
I wonder if Scuba Steve's
Not
got to
here.
remember that. Like,
I remember sending you a picture of it.
yeah. I think it was literally like the day or two after that I went back there and ripped it out.
I remember that.
I got into an argument with a guy over fishing his dock, right? And the guy was like,
God.
he's like, I just spent $30,000 on this dock, and I was like, well, it's your fucking fault for spending $30,000 on something you're putting on no one's property.
Right.
Right.
So, like, I don't
It's not my
understand.
fault.
It's not my fault that you decided to buy a house on public property.
That being said, it's public property in the water, but I won't leave. I will do my damnedest to not leave a lure stuck on somebody's dock
Oh,
if I
never.
can help
Oh,
it.
I do whatever
what I
I can to
mean?
not leave a lure stuck anywhere.
Anywhere.
I put a half-ounce jig about 6 feet up and then smashed it down on his dock to fucking. Because he was like yelling at me, and I'm just like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like, I have enough of a skill set where I am not going to hit your dock. Right? And he was still just up in my face, screaming at me, yelling at me, you fucking assholes, you idiots, all do this and that. So as soon as he started walking away, I put a half-ounce jig and just went, whack, boom. Yep.
No,
You.
I like the noise it makes when it bounces off a pontoon.
Yeah. There's no louder sound in the world than your jig bouncing off a pontoon
There's
boat
no
at
hiding
6
that.
a.m.
There's no hiding that.
How about at Lake Anna in slow motion when I wung that spinnerbait, and as soon as the rod got here, a heron takes off from the bank.
Oh my god!
And I'm just like watching in
Yes.
slow motion. I even said
We
something.
were both watching it. We were like, that's gonna fly into your line.
Like-
and then it freaking flew right into his line as he was whipping the spinnerbait.
Oh, it's like,
that happened
my
to me.
God.
That happened to me in Mansion Cove 2 years ago,
And
I hooked it. So I threw my crank. I was started casting up the bank like at a 45-degree angle, and I cast it out there, and sure enough, same situation. Heron flies off the bank, and I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. My line goes over top of its wing, and the crankbait just comes around and hooks in its armpit.
This bird was so pissed. So he wings back and he throws. And as soon as he releases, this heron takes off from the bank. And we both just looked at each other like this. His spinnerbait was still mid in the air. We were like, it's going to hit it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it just went right into it. Now, granted, it didn't get a hook into it or anything. It just got wrapped up in his line
Yeah.
and fell in the water and then went over to the property. And this was me and his first time.
We were on
At
Lake Anna for
on
like
the cold
5
side.
minutes. Like 5 minutes on the water.
Yeah, we must have been out there for 5 to 10 minutes. And he hooks this fucking bird. And I was like, this is how this trip's going to go.
I literally chased it.
And then he blew up his lower unit.
The worst
No,
part
different
is,
trip,
it's like,
different trip.
obviously we're not just going to cut it and cut the line and then leave this bird, like, wrapped up. So, like, we go over to the shore. He's jumping off on somebody's property. We have no idea whose property he's on. He's chasing this bird. We finally, like, catch this bird. And we're holding it, and he's like unwrapping it from the wing. We're out on the shore
Like,
for
just
like
cut
10.
that shit.
We're like, no, dude, this bird couldn't
It was
even
No,
wrapped
that's what
up.
I'm saying. Like, don't try to unwrap it. Just cut it all off so you can pull it.
Yeah, you know what? We were just panicking in the moment,
Yeah.
and we just jumped off and just had to unwrap this bird and get it off. And then this bird just like ran off into the woods afterwards. It was squawking at us.
That thing was so mad.
It was so pissed.
Biting the shit out of me.
You gotta grab their beak.
I was like, literally, it was wrapped
tried.
around its neck, so I literally like grabbed it like right at the neck, and this thing's like, I'm like, God damn it! I'm just unwrapping it.
The one that I hooked, we got it. It was in the water.
It was around its neck. It was
and-
around its wing. It was.
Like I like trolling motored the boat up next to it, and I just held its beak down, like to like water level, so it closed its beak, and I made Mac grab a hold of its beak, and he was a little bitch about it.
Wait, Matt.
Mac,
Oh, okay.
he's like, I was like, just fucking grab it.
It's not gonna hurt if it bites you.
Yes, it
just-
is. Dude, I'll
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
spear you.
That thing bit
It
me.
can- I said bite, not spear. It's
They're
different.
They're gonna spear you.
That
Like,
thing
if you-
bit me a couple times, and it didn't feel good. I can tell you that. But I'm not gonna like kill a gray heron over a spinnerbait.
No.
One of the most awkward situations I ever had was fishing sailboats on Lake Champlain. First thing in the morning, right? And
See where this is going.
those Z-Man plastics, right? If you fucking hit the side of something, it just glues to the side of whatever it is, right? So like, and I could see them on live scope. I see that there's a fucking pile of them underneath this one sailboat. So I'm like trying to pitch the drop shot as close as I can to the corner of the thing. And like, I ended up sticking the fucking plastic to the side of the sailboat. The weight swings in, hits the side of the boat, and then all of a sudden, from the side window, fucking curtains. Fucking peeks out. Somebody was sleeping in the boat. And I'm like, oh no. And then they never came out of the boat, because I don't think that they, like, you know, maybe they
Did they not just see you sitting there on your boat like, hi?
Oh no, they saw me, and I just pretended like I didn't see them. I was just looking down at my screen. I was like, "Yep, okay."
Come on, come off.
And then I caught 3 fish from out underneath the sailboat, so it was great.
The
But,
best was
At least you didn't hook the canvas.
Oh God,
So,
dude, I genuinely feel bad. Like it hasn't happened to me in a while, but like I've done that before on like somebody's boat cover when you're just like, you know, it actually happens more so when I'm fucking skipping. So like I'll skip and it'll hit like
Hit
the
like a
random
wave.
ripple in the water and just be like, doing, and I'm like, oh no, and try and get it out, and then trying to get it out,
And then
ends
you
up sinking
bury
the
it,
hook into
yeah.
the fucking thing.
I'll never forget. It must have been like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, or something like that. We were back in what's the really really muddy cove in the GP in the backside there. Instead of going out, you just go to the left.
Foster Branch.
Foster Branch. We were back in Foster's, and it's windy, and
fish out there last night.
it's blowing down in there. And there's this guy who's got like the American flag like off the back of his like dock right there. It's just like blowing in the wind. And Scuba just goes and takes this ripper of a cast, like right up
Right
next to this
into the
guy's
flag.
desk, right into this guy's flag.
That's
It
messed
just
up.
buries a bunch of treble hooks in this guy's flag. And I was like, ooh. I
Seal-
was like,
See you later, John. Thank you so much for the
John.
swag. We really appreciate it.
John, we appreciate you, man.
So-
can't wait to rock the gear.
Joe, so
Thanks,
Joe,
John. Appreciate it, man. Drive safe, brother.
So Joe said the best video is Ike going at the lady. I think the best video is Mike Roselle bitching out Ike for muddying up a grass line while he was fishing. Well, Mike was fishing a tournament on the Potomac.
Oh, I remember that.
I thought that was. Is that the guy where Mike said that he was like 60 or 70 yards ahead of him?
Ike was like, oh, yeah, well, I'm out here. I gotta make a living. I'm scanning the grass
That's the
line.
one where he's
And
like,
"Oh,
he's like, you've muddied up the entire grass line. Like, I'm trying to fish here. Like, because he was just idling like up the grass
I
line.
remember that. It was in a Ranger, right?
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that guy was just a resident that was yelling at him though.
No, that was Mike Roselle. He fishes Maryland Bass Nation
Okay.
tournaments, everything. Well, I know Mike pretty well. Super nice guy. Like one of the
Somebody local around here did
yeah,
that?
he fishes yeah.
Nice.
The one,
One
that
of the nicest guys that I've ever fished against.
the one that Joe's talking about was actually on the Sassafras during the Bass Open, and that,
that
lady.
That was not the Sassafras.
I thought it was.
It was in Seneca.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And that lady comes out and she's like, blah blah blah. He's like, it's okay, I'm not gonna hit your dock. And she kept going. And he's like, you know what? Now I'm gonna stay.
Yeah. That was funny as shit. He's
like, okay, now I'm gonna stay.
I was gonna leave.
I was
I'm
gonna
not.
leave, but now I'm not.
Right. It's like that guy. I'm not gonna hit your dock with anything. I'm like, but now that you're an asshole, I'm absolutely.
I
gonna
think
hit
it
your
was
dock
so
with
funny
something.
that he was just like, look, he's like, I'm really good.
Like I do this professionally. I'm really good at not hitting stuff.
Yeah, right. You fishermen,
He
you
didn't
leave
even
stuff in
say
my
that,
dock."
which I think was more funny. Like, he didn't even tell her, like, I'm a professional bass fisherman. He was just like, look,
I'm really good.
I'm really good.
It was a funny video. I still my favorite. The Micro Zell video is one of my favorite fishing videos. He's just
Oh, there you go. Martin Drop Shot Crush has a good one of him in a marina.
oh Travis.
I don't remember that one. I don't think I've seen that one.
Who's drop shot crush?
Smallmouth
Travis.
Crush.
Oh, yeah, that he does only just throw drop shots.
Dude, it's funny because he'll have like 3 people on his boat for a guided trip, and he'll sit in the biggest community hole ever with a drop shot and catch 2-pounders all day. All day. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's like people pay for that. You know what I
guide
mean?
trips. So our expectation of guide trips and the average person who gets a guide trips expectations are completely different.
Yeah.
know-
I would say
I have
that.
a friend of mine who's a guide on the Potomac, and he said for some of his clients, they just want to reel in fish. He's like, if they're having a tough day, like they don't he'll cast, hook a fish for him, and hand him the rod, and they're
I would say
perfectly happy with
90%
that.
of people that want to go out and fish would
What's up, Murph?
rather do that than go out and chase a big fish. You
Yeah.
have like the 10% of people like us that like if we're booking a guide trip, we want to go somewhere that guy knows that there's big fish.
But 3/16 pound weight takes out your dock. You got bigger issues.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Like
No,
Like
he
a-
told me he spent $30,000 on his dock, and I'm like, why would you spend $30,000 on something you're putting in the fucking
I want
water?
to call him
Right.
shot crush.
you know, it's
Drop shot. Oh, nice.
like that's what I don't understand about dock owners is like you built your dock literally on like public access.
I see people fish my
Yeah.
dock on saltpeter like
What's up,
every
little
weekend.
John? Thanks
Like,
for joining
and
us,
I'll
buddy.
walk out and be like, "Hey, did you catch any on my dock?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, me neither. This place sucks."
Real quick before we get too deep into it, I just want to give our sponsors a huge shout out. Big shout out to Tactical Fishing. Thank you for sponsoring us and sponsoring our trivia section. We have a lot of fun with that. And check out his baits, man. TacticalFishingCo.com. Also, UMA Lures. Tyler Hawthorne with UMA Lure Company. He makes some of the best balsa wood crankbaits on the market. I stand by them, throw them all the time. They are absolutely phenomenal balsa wood cranks. And he says soft plastics. I don't know if he's got any soft plastics on the store, though.
Not that I'm aware of.
Coming soon.
Mobile Auto Services
For the last
and the
3
Boat
years.
Pros. Thank you to Mr. John Hansen. He's been with us for probably almost 2 years now.
Yeah, pretty long
Year and
time.
a half, 2 years now. And they come to you. He'll come to your house and service your boat, service your car. He'll come to your place of work and service your car. You know, whatever you guys need. He's got big trucks, small trucks. He's got a lot of guys out there on the road. They do great work. I have used Mobile Auto Services before to service one of my nitros before I sold them. Or it.
Joe said he bought horny toad style baits from Tactical Fishing when he first started. Well, thank you for supporting our sponsors.
East Coast IV. Shout out to East Coast IV. East Coast IV is a company that gets rid of your hangover, essentially, is the way I'm going to. They do a lot more than that, but they'll come to your house, give you an IV bag. You can go to them, get an IV bag. They're all about wellness and health, and they offer so many more services than just IV bags and whatnot. But the main thing that I've used them for is coming here and giving an IV bag to make me feel better
After the UFC fights.
after the UFC fights. So you know, you go out for your bachelor party, you have a banger, you get married the next day. You might want to call East Coast IV and have them come to your house and hook you up to an IV bag, so you don't look like a total piece of shit.
It's cheaper to pay for. It's cheaper to pay for an IV bag than pay for a divorce.
Yes.
Bass Munitions. Mr. Larry Payne has been with us since the very, very beginning. Bass Munitions makes a great soft plastic. The most popular soft plastic he has is called the Holstein Worm. It's a phenomenal drop shot bait. Gets bit all the time, and he's got it in a variety of different colors. Go to bassmunitionslures.com and check out Bass Munitions. And then our buddy Warren Taylor with Tailored Lures. Shout out to Warren. He's got a pretty nice frog out there on the market. A lot of the snakehead guys and the bass fishermen really like throwing his frogs. One thing I can say is they're a very soft frog with a really, really stout, beefy hook. They're almost like saltwater hooks. These things are so stout, but you kind of need that when you're fighting monster snakeheads all the time. So, shout out to them. And next week, I think we're going to add the old JCS logo in there. Shout out to JCS Marine for always taking care of us, being a good friend to us, sending us care packages, building Tony a badass boat, and just being an all-around good friend and partner. Chad, whenever you want to buy her a ring and need cash, I'll buy that donk.
Nice.
That donk is not for sale, Joe. Thanks, Paul. He's talking about the Black Talon.
It took me a second to think about it.
We used to. Murphy says we used to give each other IVs at drill weekend to recover quickly back in like 2005.
I gave you a deal on that donk too.
Sick ass deal on that donk. I throw that thing too.
Yeah,
I do. I throw that thing.
It swims great.
It
I threw it in
swims
Texas
really
a little
nice.
bit a couple years ago.
Yeah, the donk. It's
What's
a
that?
Black
It's a
Talon
Black
Customs
Talon
donk.
custom swim
Okay.
bait.
It's a
9-inch glide bait.
It's a very, very hard swim bait to get your hand on.
Okay.
It's a glide bait.
He makes a very
I think this one
limited
is 8 or 9 inches,
It's 9.
2.5 some ounces, something like that. Maybe even heavier than that. I mean, this thing it swims really,
Super
really
big
well. You
profile.
can chop it. You can make it glide nice and wide. It's a nice shad profile, and it's actually a great color that I have from him as well.
I feel like I'm almost a little scared to get into swim baits because when I like something, I really, really like something. And
You're getting
I
into
feel
an
like if
expensive hobby.
Yeah. I already have an expensive hobby. It's called fucking boat ownership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Hey, random question. Do you have your guitar with you?
I don't.
I was
I
gonna bring
don't.
mine, but I didn't.
I don't. But
I wish Sean was home. We could always just go get one of Sean's guitars, but
Yeah.
he's not around.
I can't get into like the swim bait. For me, like I can't just go out there and like throw it just because I want to catch a fish on it.
No,
Like, I don't throw
yeah.
anything just because
using
I
it
want to
more
catch a
for
fish
like
on it.
draw situations where like you're trying to draw something out and
I've-
like get followers and like
I've done that. I figured out a couple of scenarios where I know it'll get bit, and like consistently, like if things line up, like I know I can throw a glide bait and get bit. But you know, outside of that, for me, it's just another bait.
Yeah.
Like it's in the boat. Like I know if the situation comes up where I need it, like I can throw it. But I'm not gonna spend. I'm not so into it like Chad is, where he enjoys it so much. Like that, he'll go out and throw a glide bait all day to get 2 or 3 bites.
If I get 2 or 3 bites.
Right. I can't.
I mean, I have a setup for it. I have, you know, I think it's like it's a Dobbins Fury
795.
795, and a 300 series reel, and it. I mean, I can comfortably throw.
You got
a
fluoro or
9-inch,
braid on it.
copolymer.
There you go.
Ooh, you know, I've never used that before. How do you like that?
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I got 17-pound copolymer on it.
17 sounds light.
Dude,
But I guess I'm using 20-pound fluoro.
Yeah,
so.
I threw 20
Yeah.
pound for
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Almost-
I had a guy that recommended the 17-pound to me for the baits that I had. I mean, I don't have any fucking giant baits or anything. I've got like, I think the biggest one I have is 9 inches.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, I've thrown them a couple times. I've literally not caught a fish on a big swim bait or a glide bait or anything like that.
Wait till you do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of fearing because I'm like,
Wait till you do.
Yeah.
So I want to, since we're on the glide bait conversation, there was a ridiculous tournament at Clear Lake last weekend.
In Cali.
Yeah, like I think there were 21 bags over 30 pounds over the 3 days that were weighed in, which is stupid, right? But the guy who won was talking about his day one, and he caught 4 of his fish on a Sakamata shad on forward facing sonar, and he caught his 5th fish on a 13-inch glide bait.
Nice. That's crazy. What
He's
glide
like,
bait is that?
I'll find it for you. I'll tell you. It was something.
You
custom.
use 20-pound monofilament, Joe, for everything?
Now I will say, like, I think everybody should have a handful of
I'm
like some
braid
S
or
wavers
fluoro.
and stuff. Like some S wavers are like a pretty normal. Like
An
everyone should
S
have.
Waver is
some.
a fantastic starter glide bait. There is no doubt about it.
I would say
what I
that-
can say is better now is that bullshit ABS trick shot.
I was going to say the
from
same thing.
Buka brand.
$40.
Yeah.
The Storm Arashi's not bad. So I've only caught one fish on a glide
Trash.
bait, and
There are a couple of pros that swear by that Arashi
I think it's
because it catches
Storm
big
just
fish.
doesn't have the greatest name,
For what? What do you mean?
just in general.
I mean,
They're like rock fishing baits when I think of
they
Storm.
made one of the best crankbaits ever made.
What
one?
crankbait is that?
The Wigglewort
yeah,
That's by Storm? I thought that was a Rapala bait.
Storm.
Well, Rapala owns Storm, so it's the same parent company. But I don't know if they did when
Not
they
a
made
fan,
it.
I'm not a
though.
fan of
The
Rapala.
pre-Rapala Storm Wigglewort is the that's the golden.
That's a big
standard.
money bait right now.
I mean, that's
Some
what
of it.
that's
some of those go for $2,000.
that's essentially what the
crazy.
rock crawler was made after was
Yes.
the Wigglewort, and the rock crawler is amazing. Like the rock crawler, you throw it
I
down.
haven't
You ever
caught
throw it
many
down?
fish on rock crawlers.
It was a
the
G,
Spro rock roller.
Oh, it's amazing.
Chad. It was a GCJ Customs 13-inch glide bait. I have no idea what that is.
I've never heard of G.
So what is it that you
GCJ?
don't like about Rapala? Because I pretty much exclusively use Rapala jerkbaits, and I fucking love them.
I'm a JDM guy.
Yeah.
I like throwing Mega Bass, OSP, Jackall.
Yeah.
I like throwing JDM stuff a lot,
Yeah.
and I feel like Rapala is just every motherfucker's got Rapala.
Yeah.
Everybody's got.
I feel
I
like
really-
with the Strike
literally,
King.
Shadow-
it's not that I don't think their baits don't work because I
Yeah.
know they work. It's just that everybody sitting at this table except me has the same crankbaits and shit. So
Yeah. I mean the shadow wrap jerkbaits. I
killers.
fucking love them.
Yeah.
I love them, and they're $7.99.
Yeah. But you and every other boat out on the lake has
Stupendous.
them.
Stupendous wintertime jerkbait.
I
The
fucking
Shadow Wrap
love it.
Deep.
Have you thrown
Yeah.
the Maverick at all? Do you like the Maverick, the new one?
No, I haven't thrown it because that one's $12 and
Yeah.
the other one's $8.
The Mavericks are right.
I will
Yeah.
say the Crush City soft plastics. They don't make one that's bad. They're
Bro,
all good.
I was on that. I got on the.
Don't get Chad started on that.
Listen, I got on the Bronco Bug last year, right? I started using the straight green pumpkin, black flake Bronco Bug, and I loved that bait. And then earlier this year, they had a deal on them. I think it was like the end of February or something. They had a deal on them, and it was like buy 3 get 2 free or
From
something
Dick's?
like that. Yeah.
Buy 3 get 3 free.
So
I bought 28 packs of Mayors.
yeah, and so like I ended
That's the
up
swim
buying-
bait, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Bought
ended
28
up
packs
buying,
of
Really good A-rig bait.
I ended up buying a bunch of those because the thing for me, right, and because I'm like, we were talking about you being cheap, right? I'm also cheap when it comes to stuff. So I look at everything from like how much I like the bait, how much I like the action of the bait, what I think my like the catchability, right? Of like I think that I have confidence in this bait, but also how many fish can I catch on
That's
that
that
bait
9-inch.
before I need to throw it on the deck?
That's a nice
Right.
looking bait.
And like that Crush
I
City
can't find
Bronco
the
Bug,
13 in.
like
Probably like custom.
I can catch. I know that I can catch flipping and lily pads and junk and milfoil and whatever. I know that I can pull 3 fish out of that with each bait.
Right.
And that means a lot to me because now it's like I'm not throwing that bait in there, catching one fish and fucking unhooking it, throwing it on the
like
deck
a
and having to put another one
Yamamoto
on.
Senko
You know why they
Dude,
call
I
it?
can't.
You know why they call it the janitor?
because it cleans up.
It cleans up all the fish in the area.
I love Joe's comment. I wish Terminator would come out with a titanium spinnerbait again.
I used to
It's
love
one of the
turkey
best
spinnerbaits.
freaking spinnerbaits.
You're gonna.
So favorite spinner bait. What do we got?
The
OSP.
the Mega Bass. I don't know if it's the 9
The
or the
SV3.
3, the SV3 or the SV9.
Yeah.
So the SV3 is more of a burning style spinnerbait. You
Yeah.
run it faster. The SV9 is more of a deeper, slower reeling spinnerbait.
So
About you?
for me, 2 of them. I got the Finesse. It's the OSP, the
Yeah.
little one. It's like $15, and then a regular size spinnerbait. It's a War Eagle.
You have an OSP
I hate-
spinnerbait?
I have like 20 of them.
What? The OSP spinnerbaits are killer. I know where
Favorite
you got that
spinnerbait?
from. It was
Hook
from
up
that
tackle.
day we were out there with Travis.
Yep. Look out, tackle.
Favorite spinnerbait for me is a big mouth lures.
Are they
Which
are they custom in this area or no?
Delaware.
Okay.
I bought
my
10.
friend
so
Brian's
He was
company.
talking about those Terminator swim baits. I still have 6 brand new in the package.
The
titanium
titaniums?
ones. Yeah.
Dude, those will fit.
Those were
over
really
mine
good.
right now.
I bought
Like 30
10 of
bucks a
them.
piece.
I bought 10 of them. I bought 5 white ones, 5 white and chartreuse ones.
Yep.
And but other than that, I do half-ounce War Eagle spinner baits.
Yeah.
War
I hate-
Eagles, I mean,
I hate War Eagles.
The thing
Megabass,
about the
Megabass,
War Eagle's gonna-
OSP, and War Eagle.
the War Eagle's
Yeah.
going to catch fish, but like it's going to rust. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like
My second favorite is the Strike King tour grade that came out
That's a good one.
2 years
Yep.
ago. They redesigned the tour grade. That spinnerbait is badass. I have caught a ton. I mean that's what I caught 9 out of the 10 fish in that Pocomoke tournament that I won.
has anybody thrown any of the Z-Man
year.
spinner baits?
Yeah, they fucking blow.
You don't like them?
I hate them.
Bubs, this is rubber. Stop eating that.
But yeah, that Strike King.
Yeah.
That thing catches. I call that. That's what I call that 7-pounder on.
What about the Booyah 4-blade spinner bait? They even still make that. They even still make that thing?
It's supposed to look like a freaking.
Dude, you know what's bullshit? I was the other day. I
got
needed
Oh,
a
these are
couple.
good.
I
I
needed
like
a couple
those.
frogs, right? So I'm looking at the Booyah frogs. They're like fucking $10 now.
And then I hate them.
Like
I can't stand
$10.
them. I
And
can't
I'm like,
stand
The
them.
only reason I fished them was because they were
$5.
$5.99.
Yeah.
the pad crashers are that much
Yeah,
now?
the pad crashes are like 9 and change.
You know what? For that, I'm just gonna say that I'm throwing a freaking jack off for that. What's your favorite frog? What's favorite frog? Put it out there.
Terminator popping frog, hands down.
Reaction Innovation Swamp Donkey.
Live target.
I really like live targets too.
Care.
Live targets are good. So if it's not the
Jack off
Terminator
era.
popping frog, it's the Spro Bronzeye. That's a good one too. The
I've
Bronzeye,
had
but you gotta boil
bad-
them. You have
We're
to.
I've
talking
had
about-
bad
well, it depends on
experiences
what
with the
color it
Spro
is.
frogs.
Certain colors you don't have to boil.
It's not like the
certain-
white ones you have to.
Certain colors are soft. Anything that's painted, like the painted colors,
Yeah.
you have to boil. They're hard for some
Ooh,
reason.
there's a tip right there.
But like the like the baked in colors, like that's like the color of the rubber, like tend to be a lot softer.
The Terminator popping frog is just for me the deal. Like
What we're looking at,
that-
Booyah.
that's the confidence bait.
Booyah
Booyah.
pad
pad
crasher.
The pop. The my
They're like 8. They're like.
Like $8. They used to be $5.99. They're $7.99 now.
Those
my
damn tariffs.
my biggest problem with
Stupid.
My biggest problem with the
paying
pad
that much for
crasher
them
is it is too light. Like my normal frog rod is like a 7. I think it. Wait, hold on. No, it's
Ooh,
a 7.2
so-
heavy.
I
So
remember that, Joe. Remember when that frog came out
That
that,
was-
had the freaking the boom?
That was
boom?
the boom boom.
It was
They-
the boom.
they
boom
still make
frog.
it.
Yeah, they still make it, but that thing was like all the rage when it came out. You had to have one of the boom boom frogs. The hookup ratio was not good.
No.
I had a couple of them. I
Actually-
didn't think the hookup ratio was great on them.
I lied. I have an honorable mention for the frogs. The Stanley Top Toad.
That's a toad.
You're
That's not a
talking
frog.
about a soft plastic at that point, though.
That's a toad.
So
Yeah, but it's still.
I feel like there's a
awesome.
difference between a hollow body and
It is a
soft
hollow. It's a
plastic.
hollow body toad.
It's a toad.
Is
though.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the like feet that
Yeah.
go all.
Yeah.
It's
I
awesome.
consider that a toad. That's,
love that
That's
thing.
kind of like the Teckle Sprinker.
The Tekko's
Like-
the one that had the boot tail.
Yeah.
Now
Like,
the
I don't count
Booyah,
that as a, I don't count that as a
the
like a
Booyah
frog.
Toad Runner is good. Now that's a hollow body frog with a boot tail, like on like a little swivel.
Yeah,
on
that
it.
It's
one,
the-
yeah.
That's a good frog.
It's
I
the
like
Teckle
that.
Sprinker ripoff.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that one,
yeah.
but the pad crasher, like if I'm throwing my either my Bronzeye or my poppin' frog Terminator, and then put on a pad crasher, I can't throw it on the same rod. I have to get a lighter rod to actually throw it for distance. It's just too light for me. I don't like it.
What about soft plastic frogs, though?
So on the one, on the hollow belly, like I think there's various situations for various frogs. So like if you look at my box, like I have live target walking frogs, I have live target popping frogs, I have Spro popping frogs, I have Terminator popping frogs. Like they all, not any one of them like meets meets the every criteria, for when I'm out on the water. So You know, like some of them are better in certain situations than others. Some of them skip better than others. Some of them are better in open water, like the live target popping frog. Like if I'm fishing like open water around wood, like that's way better than a spro. But if I'm fishing in grass, I don't like that one in grass. Like I'll fish a spro in grass because it's got more pop to it.
Yeah.
Which if I'm if I'm fishing thicker grass, like I want more action.
The
to
old
it.
frogs I used to really, really like, and I have not thrown them in a long time, and it kind of makes me want to pick up a couple and see if they changed it any. River to Sea used to make a couple badass frogs.
I have one. I have one of them.
Yeah.
I have the big Ish Monroe, the fat frog.
Yeah,
These
the big
things
fat-
like this big.
Have you
Yeah,
ever
the
seen,
big
speaking
fat
of
frog,
giant frogs,
They have a popping.
Thing
and
weighs
they
like
have-
an ounce and a quarter.
have you ever seen
They
the,
cast like a freaking absolute mile
because
they come with big gap hooks on
because
them.
it weighs an ounce and a quarter.
Yeah,
wait, isn't River to Sea the one that made the weedless spook too? Oh no, that was snag proof.
No, snag proof has a weedless spook and a weedless
River to
popper.
Sea made the freaking
and the
whopper
hookup ratio
plopper.
and the hookup ratio sucks.
Yeah,
on
it's
those.
pretty bad. It's really bad.
So favorite toad. I'm a diehard Stanley ribbit frog.
Yeah. I was gonna say the ribbit frog is probably number one.
The top toad and ribbit frog can like share number one.
They have all types of. They have ones from Zoom. They have Kayatek. Z-Man has
I
one
just
out
run-
now.
I just run the
Z-Man's
Zooms.
floats.
The Zoom horny toad.
The Zoom
Yeah.
horny
I
toad.
run I run the Zoom horny toad
So-
because they're cheap, and I feel like something like that, like you're gonna be just glugging that thing through a whole bunch of shit. Like that's a reaction bite. The fish is gonna see it and it's gonna want to eat it.
Right.
So I threw the horny toad also. The biggest difference between like the ribbit frog and the horny toad, you can fish the ribbit frog a lot slower. The horny toad you have to reel it pretty quick.
The Zoom goat. I think it's
The Z-Man goat
Z-Man goat.
sucks. You know why?
It's terrible. It's
too
only
fucking
one
light,
hook.
and it's too fucking light. But no, I
It
don't care
floats.
about their hooks because I
No,
use
because
I use owner
most
double.
of these toads have double hooks that you put in them. This one is designed to be a single hook toad.
I still put owner double take hooks in every toad I throw. Doesn't matter if it's a horny toad, if it's a Z-Man.
I like that I do like the one thing about the Z-Man goat toad that I like is that it floats though, so you can stop it and it still stays on the surface.
Well, that's
over
what
top of those pockets.
the top toad. That's
Yeah.
what the benefit
right.
of the top toad.
Yeah.
To me, the top toad, you have all the benefits of the hollow body frog.
The Z-Man's just it's too light. You can't cast it unless you throw it on a weighted hook.
Yeah.
Like you have to throw a weighted hook on it. It's stupid. Like I have 2 packs of them. They're sitting at home. Anybody wants them, they're free to have them.
Yeah, like the top toad, to me, you get all the benefits of the hollow body frog because it's a hollow body toad. So like you can throw it, let it sit, burn it, let it sit, burn it, and you got the double hooks. It comes with the hooks they're weighted, so you can launch it, but it's not going to sink it.
So the opposite, there are times where with a ribbit frog, reeling it across.
Oh yeah, dude, the toxic frog is huge. Actually, hold up a second.
Chad has one of those right here. So with the ribbit frog, you're doing the opposite, right? So I'm reeling it across like the topped out grass, and then you can get to a hole and let it sink into the hole.
Yeah,
So
One of these, Joe.
Jesus.
yeah, that's the small one.
That's the junior.
That's the small one.
Favorite smallmouth baits.
Feel how heavy this thing is.
okay, I'm going to spill beans on this one. I'm going to spill some beans on this one. So,
Take it home with you.
favorite smallmouth bait.
Seriously?
Yeah, take it.
I'll fucking throw it. Why not?
My favorite smallmouth bait
Put
is
6 pounders on it.
the OW sniper jig.
Favorite smallmouth flatworm.
That's a good one too.
Like I can't.
It's a really good one too.
I've caught more and bigger smallmouth in general on a flatworm than any other bait that I've ever thrown for smallmouth.
I would agree with that, but
yeah.
the sniper jig, you get big. I mean, you just catch big fish on it.
My number 2, I'll throw
The
this one out
finesse
there.
sniper. Yeah.
OW sniper jig. So it's a
I just
little.
picked up 2 of those at that show. I'm gonna try them this year. I haven't
Beast
tried them
Coast makes one of the nicest jigs on the market.
So what are you going to use for a trailer?
I just use a.
Dude, I actually got some. I really in my area for smallmouth. I really like the peanut butter and jelly color pattern. So I got peanut butter and jelly OW sniper jigs, and then I was looking for a specific color pattern to match the color of that jig, and Yum actually made a 3-inch craw that went on the back. That like when I put this thing on there, it was like the perfect fit.
This is gonna sound really stupid, and Tony's gonna agree. Just put a TRD on it.
That's what I throw. That's what I throw. That
Just
is
put a
the
TRD
only.
On the sniper.
Like it's
That's the only thing I throw.
It's the
Yeah, I
dumbest
mean, it
looking
makes the
thing
most
ever.
sense in my opinion to put on there though.
So and this
Just
is
put
my
the Ned
plug.
rig bait on
So
the back
favorite
of it.
smallmouth bait for me, Ned rig. Like,
Ned rig?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say the Ned
I
rig's
can
popular.
I can phone it in on that one because every fucking person in the entire world will throw a Ned rig at smallmouth, but I can say that I love it because I don't have to fish it super slow. I don't have to sit there and ding 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 like
You can just
with a drop shot. It's like I can reel it in, especially with forward facing sonar now.
You can swim it. I mean,
I
you can fish it
swim
like a
I can
minnow.
play 'em.
Just swim it a freaking Ned rig. Just
Oh,
look
yeah.
like
Dude,
a
it's the
turd
most
going through that.
ridiculous concept in the
Also,
entire
on
world to say that you can
Marabou-
swim something that has no
Yeah, Marabou
fucking
jigs are the
action
same way.
whatsoever,
Yep.
but it works.
None. It has
Dude,
no action.
I literally led smallmouth like I'm fishing a minnow
So-
with a fucking Ned rig,
Yep.
2.75 Ned rig, and they will chase after it, and I'll just kill it a little bit, and then bring it back up, and bang.
my number 2 smallmouth bait, and I've probably called more bigger smallmouth on this, but it's always very dependent, is the Rapala OG Slim 6.
That's a good one too. I was
I
gonna
caught
say after
My biggest Maryland smallmouth came on that,
after
along with my
the,
biggest bag in Maryland. Actually,
really?
my biggest
Juice.
bag of smallmouth ever came on that bait, and it was in Maryland.
that was my second one for smallmouth is going to be the rock crawler. But I was going to tell you when you get that
21.32.
when you get that sniper jig, the thing that sucks about them is the hook keeper. It's not bad, but with Elastec,
big.
it doesn't work.
Right.
So what I do,
Super glue.
I mean, or you get like an Ocho, but
super
it's a little
glue.
big.
Yeah.
I super glue anything.
I'll tell you, my favorite trailer for that is Bass Munitions makes these packs of like 30 Ned rigs, and
actually,
you can get. I mean, and they're like $5, like for a pack of like 30 Ned rig baits, and they're like the same size as a TRD, and they work with that hook keeper. So if you check out the Bass Munitions Ned, it's the perfect trailer for that sniper jig. But you can fish it just like a Ned rig, but like I'll just find like a rocky bottom and just start bombing that thing
I just
out
fish
Is
there.
that tungsten?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't fish the sniper jig. I use the Kitech.
It's the same thing.
Finesse football
Same
jig.
thing. Yep.
They're expensive.
And no, they're cheap. They're like $6.
For Kitex?
Yeah.
I think the sniper's about the same. Might be a little bit more actually. I have some.
I think the
context.
I
sniper's
have
like
a
$8.
lot of my finesse jigs are missile baits. Or
So-
not missile baits, I'm sorry, dirty jigs.
So I just fish it like a jig. Mm-hmm. Like just like I would fish a football jig.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yep.
mini football jig with a Ned head on it.
Throw it on a spinning
like I'm just
rod?
dragging it.
I throw mine.
No, I throw a big caster.
I throw all my sniper jigs on spinning.
Throw
rod.
that bitch on. I throw a half ounce. I want that shit getting down there quick.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I throw it on a spinning rod with
This is the
like a
Dude, a plopper on
regular-
the Susky gets absolutely destroyed, Joe. Freaking killer bait. You know, the plopper was
Right, like
so
the perfect
popular
size.
for a long time, and
Good
now I
color
feel like
pattern.
nobody throws a plopper.
I have a bunch of those yum curls.
this was the
yeah.
But
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
you know,
right,
you're
it's like the perfect
So,
size. and
with
the
the
right
sniper
color
if I'm
jig-
throwing
pattern, like-
if I'm throwing a half ounce anything, it's not getting thrown on a spinning rod.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Z-Man
No.
plastic is like
No.
weird to deal with.
There's
So-
no point in throwing a
Right,
half.
but
I do
those
it
are
on the
young
spinning rod.
plastic,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can actually fucking crank
Oh,
them
that's
on
the
the
young.
keeper.
Yeah.
I do it on a spinning rod only because I like the lighter rod, and it's the hooks are like Ned rig hooks. So even on a half ounce sniper jig, the hooks are still just like a Ned rig. So I like it on
See,
that
the
medium.
Kitech,
on
the
that
Kitech's
medium.
got a much the other jig that I throw a lot, small jig is the Picasso makes a tungsten football jig that I throw a lot, and it's like head and skirt is like this big,
Yeah.
and it's got a smaller hook, but it's a beefier hook. The Kitechs have a beefier hook too. Like I'm not worried about setting the hook and bending the hook if I'm throwing it on a medium heavy, a 7 foot medium heavy.
The Z-Man finesse jig's pretty good too. I mean, it's literally just a they-them Ned rig, but
Oh, the
Hell yeah, Joe. Go get him,
it's a
brother.
Ned rig with a
The-
skirt.
That's a
That's like
sniper jig
TRD.
fish on Conowingo. Same setup I was just telling you.
Who's the retard holding it?
Me.
Oh man.
They're showing off pictures.
I've caught some very big fish on that thing. Actually, my Conowingo PB was on a sniper jig. And that's a bait that like you'll catch them all year. Like,
Do you remember when we went down to that one spot and I was throwing the freaking depths cover scat?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Throwing the old cover scat, and all of a sudden we hadn't gotten much of a bite all day long.
Caught like
and
a
we went out
couple,
there,
yeah.
I threw it out there underneath the freaking lady, and it was boom.
Yep.
And that was my PB, probably a 3.5 pounder.
I don't know.
smallmouth.
The best smallmouth bite ever was when I was fishing with Paul. That was hilarious. It was like the one where you flipped like a beaver into the thickest tree available.
Like
And
a
it was
straight up largemouth fishing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
fresh lay down, leaves into everything, and there's a hole this big in the leaves. And I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden my line just starts going through the leaves. I'm like, that.
and it's like a 3.5 pound.
Tony's like, is that a
smallmouth.
large? It's like, that must be a largemouth. And like a 3.5 pound smallmouth jumps out of the water. He's like, holy shit.
It's like, that thing's brown. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
That is one of my favorite, like one of the best smallmouth bites I've ever had, because I've never, that's the only time I was 20 pound fluoro, 4-aught flipping hook.
Thanks for the like, Derek.
Like, I'm like loaded for bear and catch a smallmouth. Like, it was great. I mean, 4-aught Gamakatsu gaff.
I caught one that day on a flutter
I
spinner.
feel like
too.
that's uncommon smallmouth structure.
Not up there.
I was
Not
just
up
in a
there.
tree in the back of a creek.
Yeah.
Like those river fish do some weird shit though. Like they do, but they don't. Like that's the thing about that place is like there are so many different patterns where you can get on that lake with smallmouth. Like that's why I like it so much. Is you can do. I mean, if you go up there in July to fish a tournament, somebody can have 15 pounds of smallmouth in grass. Somebody can have 15 pounds of smallmouth in the middle of the lake chasing bait. Somebody could have 15 pounds of largemouth fishing wood. Like there's that place. There's never any one pattern up there that just gets it done all the time.
We get
So-
some pretty big smallmouth around here.
Holy shit! Yeah, you do.
And those are tidal smallmouth
That's title.
too.
Those are title smallmouth. Yeah.
So
That's one my buddy called on the back of my boat. That was just over 5.
is that Mark's?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one. I have another one in here somewhere. I have the. I
I
called
still
a
haven't broken
5.29.
I still haven't broken over into 5 pounds with a smallmouth yet.
I've called.
I feel like that's a good feat though. Like a 5-pound smallmouth's a nice
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
I did it this
Really
year for the
good
first time on the St. Lawrence, and we sight fished it too. That was the craziest part.
So
You
while,
fished the St. Lawrence?
Yeah, when I went up there for a week last year, we stayed at Black Lake, but me and my buddy ended up fishing the St. Lawrence the whole time.
Where's my?
so we got 6 viewers in here. I want these 6 people to guess why Chad has a pair of Rapala pliers on the sink counter in his bathroom.
It's obviously to take his cock ring out.
Damn, that was my 5-pound smallmouth on the St. Lawrence.
Nice.
It's crazy, dude, because
Yeah,
they come out of the.
I want to
liver-
get up to the St.
You
Lawrence
know what?
this
In
year.
my opinion, that's the best thing Rapala makes is those pliers.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. That one was 5.29. That's also a title smallmouth.
Do you want to know the real reason why they're in there?
I want to see if anybody comments first. Jim's not in here,
Look,
so
we're back up to 8. We're
trying
back
to find
up
my
to
St.
8
Lawrence
viewers.
one.
Why do I have a pair of Rapala pliers sitting on my bathroom sink? To pick his dingleberries.
It's a good guess.
That is a great guess. I like that.
dummy hooked
Derek's
himself.
just dummy hooked himself.
What about? Do you throw a lot of A rigs?
I
there
actually
we go.
don't. I've never thrown one.
Oh
Never
my
thrown
god,
one.
I love an A rig.
That's from the St. Lawrence. That one was almost 6. I didn't break 6 while I was there, but
Yeah, John from JCS. I was talking to him about St. Lawrence, and he said that if he's able to break away from the shop for a couple days, he would go up there and pretty much just fucking follow the leader around with me. And I mean, he's pretty well versed in that place. I
Yeah.
don't know a fucking thing about it.
Go
so.
up to so you can launch in a couple places. Waddington is a really good
So-
place to launch too.
if you're
Dan
in the,
says
if you're in the
puff,
river,
pass.
look on your map, find any shoal,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
and then just go to the upstream side of it, drop shot on the over the side of your boat, and just drift down the shoal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's almost like
You're
So
crazy
that was
if you
that
don't
was,
throw a flat
to be
worm up there.
to be fair,
It's
that
just
was
the
I
deal.
have, yeah.
It's
when
just
I was
the
up
deal.
there. It was before I had forward facing.
I had
sonar.
flatworms, and I don't even know when I'm gonna go.
But
I had flatworms. I bought a whole shitload of them. What was it, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago when everybody was like ranting and raving about them and you couldn't get them.
yeah, I bought a
And I bought
crap ton of them then.
bought a bunch of them then.
Berkeley makes a decent
But
soft plastic.
It's weird though. So when you're drifting those shoals, it's not like it's cool because you're catching big smallmouth, but it's like bait fishing. Like you're not moving your bait at all. You just literally drop it to the bottom with a 3/4 ounce drop shot weight, and you just drift.
And those, so yeah.
And you'll feel your bait like come up over a rock, and then when it comes up over the rock, it'll just go.
Yeah.
And if they know you're there, they will not eat.
It's way more
Yeah.
Like
if you
it's
can-
wild.
Yeah.
if you can get out on Lake Ontario, like that's way more interesting fishing because it's more like traditional fishing, right?
Right.
You know, you don't have the current
You're
up there.
playing it a little bit.
But-
You're doing.
Yeah, well, you get in the current, it's all.
Yeah,
just
what's up,
drifting.
Matt? We got Matt Downs from Trick Tins in the house.
You can drift, and you can drift in it. You don't have to drift a drop shot. You can drift it. I mean, but you fish any bait the same way. You cast it out and then you drift down. So doesn't matter if you're fishing a jig, a drop shot, a Ned rig. Like
Matt, how
cast
did,
it out
uh,
and then just drift.
How did that kayak build turn out, Matt?
So the story about that 5-pounder on the St. Lawrence, my buddy, we were fishing. So we got up there end of June when it first opens up, and we thought we were going to sight fish the shit out of them. And unfortunately, a lot of the fish just weren't on beds. At least in like the bay areas, you could see beds, but the fish had moved off. So we went to a main river shoal, and there was this gargantuan smallmouth on a bed. And we got up close to it, we're pitching at it, and it just didn't care. So we marked it, went to the top end of the shoal, came back. I told my buddy, hey, put it on spot lock. I'm going to make a cast at this bed where I think it is. And it was like 50 yards. And I literally was just dragging it, tick. There he is. Like, but we sat there on top of that fish for like 20 minutes and he did not do shit. Went around, got off of it, came back, and the first cast I put near it at 8. Like, it was wild. It was a lot
It's
of fun.
stupid
though.
fishing up there.
It's so much fun. Like, it is so much fun. Like, have you never gone?
No, I've never
Oh,
been.
you have got to go.
I took my.
It is incredible. Last week of June, it's incredible.
I
It's
went
absolutely.
I went
incredible.
in August and we had a blast.
What's the next project, man?
They're just a little
I
deeper.
took my dad with me.
How
my
did,
my dad loves to fish for smallmouth. He doesn't bass fish really much. He's more he's a trout fisherman, but he loves smallmouth. And like the first fish that we caught, because I caught like a 4.5 pound largemouth while he took my truck and went to take a shit. But
How did redecking that bass boat go?
when we get out, the first keeper smallmouth, I caught like one like baby smallmouth like this big. The first we pull up on this shoal in Chaumont Bay, and he throws a tube out there, and he just goes, "Oh, I got one." It's a 4.5 pounder, and he gets it in, and like it's the biggest smallmouth I've ever seen.
That's one thing that like
dude, it was so much. It was so cool.
that's one thing that the St. Lawrence, like, it's not talked about, but there is big largemouth up there too. Like,
yeah.
Like, we launched one of the day I caught that 5-pounder, we launched in the Chippewa River area, and like we ran out.
Oh, you go to Chippewa Bay is loaded with largemouth.
Yeah. So, and there it's grass. Like, it's topped out grass in June. Like, it's even topped out there before it's topped out here sometimes, which doesn't make sense. But like, go find a topped out grass area, throw a frog. Like,
Yeah,
just
that's
smoke
exactly
'em.
what
it's
I did.
awesome.
So this
That place
the
is,
first fish
like,
I-
unreal.
The first fish I catch in New York, like where we launch in Chaumont Bay, we get to the boat ramp. My dad's like, "I gotta take a shit," and I'm like, "Okay, launch the boat. Like, I'll just fish around here, take the truck." You know, there was a like a park up the road that had like bathrooms. So he dumps me off, and like, well, I'm just kind of trolling around. I'm kind of throwing a chatterbait around like in the edge, and I'm like, they've got to eat a frog. And like I turn over and there's like this little hole in the eelgrass next to a rock, and like I just throw a frog over there. I twitch it twice and catch a 4.5 pounder. I was like, yes.
There is like, if you go, I will say, if you go up there,
I put it in a
don't-
live well.
Don't
I
just
like,
go up
yeah,
there for like 2
I need a
days.
picture.
Like, if you're gonna go up there for like at least, like, if you get there on a Monday, fish till Friday.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like,
We do a trip up to
it is.
Champlain every year. Nice.
trip up to Champlain. You
We
said
do a trip up to Champlain every year, and this year, fortunately, it might overlap a little bit with like Reynolds Boats tournament up there. So I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more time up there. I love Lake Champlain. I've had a really good go at that place, and it's always like I'll go up there for 2 days of practice prior. Practice is absolute hot garbage, and then I'll somehow pull something out of my ass on tournament day, and I end up doing pretty well.
Look at that guy.
Oh yeah, that was one of our second place finishes on the Thursday nighters when me and Buckland were hot that year.
Matt says,
Yeah, just couldn't win a tournament.
And then we won one. We won one.
I thought you had like 4 second places in a row.
We won the biggest one, and then we had 3 second places in a row, and then a third, and then we did. Then the grass started dying, and we.
I'll never forget when you guys started catching them on that frog, and then that dude the very next tournament just freaking rolled right up on you guys.
That was so funny.
I'll never ever forget that.
No, yeah, oh yeah. That
It was just,
so,
I was like,
He
wow.
told us at the ramp.
So this dude was like, we were just, you know, he fishes all of our Thursday nighters, and
it's a real tight knit group.
It's
tight knit,
like,
tight
you know,
knit group.
It's
So
no
he-
big deal, but it was kind of like, really?
So we're just like, you know, bullshitting in the parking lot, and you know we're kind of talking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go over here, and he just goes, oh, I'm just gonna follow Tony, and we're like, ha ha ha, yeah, that's funny, that's funny. So I get out and I pull out on this grass flat, and I see Tony pull in, pull in behind me like 75 yards away. We were both fishing in the same area, and 10 seconds later, this dude pulls up and just parks right next to Tony.
He was
like
not
literally
kidding.
did
He
like
was for
right
real.
next to him. Like me and Steve were probably 150, 200 yards away fishing a different patch of grass, and I
When he
was
says
literally
right
like,
next
I
to
was
you.
like, dude, he's
right next,
on Tony right now.
he was 30 feet from Tony.
You could have pitched in his boat. Like, and he wasn't like setting down to like idle somewhere. He was setting down, trolling motor down, like. Whoosh. I'm like,
Yeah.
There's no way. Like,
So-
there's no way.
It was hilarious.
I
And
can't
he said
believe that
he
nothing
said it
was
in
said.
he said it in a parking lot.
I can't believe that nothing was said.
Because
there
Tony,
were some words said. It wasn't me. It was Buckland.
because Tony
What
won't
did
say
Buckland say?
Tony won't say anything to anybody on the water.
Buckland, well, yeah, because I don't like I argue and scream enough in my job. I don't like doing that shit on the water. But Buckland was like I mean, he didn't have to scream because he was right there. He's like, Buckland's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, what are you doing right now? He's like, I'm just sitting here. He's like, damn, you weren't kidding when you said you were going to fucking follow us. And then he turned around and fished. I was like, fuck.
The thing is
whatever.
Buckland. I didn't hear this because I was so far away, but Buckland might have said something. The guy didn't leave either. He still stayed there and finished.
You know what? I've never had a confrontation on the water and the person actually leave, ever.
The worst one I had ever was last year.
The only time that somebody actually left a spot that moved in was when I was fishing at SQT on the Potomac. I told you about this.
Blew up the Excalibur on
I
his
was
Callan,
sitting,
yeah.
me and Jim Goins, one of our friends. We were both power pole down, and we were like maybe like 3/4 of a cast apart. And he's casting at my boat. We've been sitting there for 45 minutes. He's casting at my boat. My co-angler's casting out the other side. I'm casting out the front. Like, we're just fishing. We're in a community grass bed. Mm-hmm. And this dude like comes around, like he's like fishing like behind us, and then he like turns, and he literally comes up in between us. Like, and just starts fishing his way in between us. And I'm looking at Jim. I'm like, are you kidding? And like, I never really said anything to him, to the guy. I'm just like talking to Jim about him through him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, there's some real assholes out here today, aren't there? You know, like shit like that. And like, so I just started. I had a trap.
That's almost even more insulting.
And of course, like, I had an Excalibur trap tied on. And so, like, I just, like, pick up the trap, and I start casting directly in front of his trolling motor. Like, just over and over and over again. Like, no concern about catching fish or not. Like, I just keep casting. And he's inching forward, and I'm still casting directly in front of his boat. Never looked at me one time. And, like, finally, he gets about a boat and a half in front of me, and I'm tired of it, and I grenade this Excalibur into the back of his cowling. I grenaded a $50 trap into the back of his cowling. It exploded. And the dude never said a word. He just picked up his trolling motor, fired up his big motor, and left.
My worst one was last year.
That dude never said a word to us the entire time.
And he was just like, yeah, well, maybe I'm just got $50 out of you, so.
Right.
Like,
I've had plenty of like arguments on the water, many of which have
I mean,
been
he
like,
left.
whatever.
I guess it was worth the $50.
The one that absolutely flabbergasted me was last year. I'm fishing on the back channel on a low tide, so the fish suck out on the grass edge, just like 101. So I'm having a tough day. I only had 3 fish in the live one. It's like noon. So I found a little pod of them. So I got my poles down and I'm casting a Texas rig Senko, and I'm catching them, and I'm like, they're all line burners.
Yeah.
But I ended up catching 2 more keepers, and I'm just gonna see like, oh, maybe there's a 3 or 4 pounder here. And I'm like not having a great day. I probably got like 10 pounds in the live well. So this guy comes back behind me in a like 17-foot express. He gets 20 yards behind me. Now I'm casting directly in front of my boat, like 2-way clump. So I don't really care. It's like I know he's back there or whatever. Then now my poles are down, right? He then comes around me, gets like from me probably to that wall. Hey man, how's it going? Gets 30 yards ahead of me, and then stops. Puts the trolling motor on spot lock. It's so close I can hear him put it on spot lock.
On top of the clumps that you were pitching to?
Yeah, I'm like, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now? Like, what is it? And then he catches one. I'm like, dude, fuck this guy. I just turn around and laugh.
I don't know
You
if this
gotta be fucking
happens.
kidding me.
See, the thing is,
are
why
people
did
this much
you
of an
leave
asshole
there?
up
That's
there?
the fucked
No.
up thing. Like,
So this
why
is
did you
common
Now, I don't
leave?
even want to fish there anymore.
So we were like, I was fishing a tournament. Rob Steiner. I don't know if Rob's still watching or not. Probably not. But me and him were fishing in Chester County one day, and I'm fishing a patch of milfoil the size of this room. I'm power poled down, casting in front of the boat, and this Pennsylvania dude comes around me, like from behind, like he's just gonna go around me, to go to another spot, like, and then gets around and starts throwing into the same grass patch. And like, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just going around you. Actually, the first thing I said, which cracked Rob up, was like he makes one cast in. I'm like, okay, I won't say anything. He makes a second cast in. I'm like, okay, fuck it. You want to just fish from my fucking boat?
Right. Right.
And he's like, what? He's like, I'm just going around you. I was like, then stop fucking casting.
Right.
But this is
No, we don't have that really up by me. There'll be people that, like, if you're fishing down a bank or you're fishing, say there's like a section where you got like 3 down trees or something like that, or a section of docks, like somebody might cut you off and like fish in front of you or whatever, but like that's about, as bad as I've seen it get. Some people will like, and it's almost like a mind game, right? Like during the spawn when like you'll try and fish for a bedding fish for, half hour, 40 minutes. And like, I've had a situation where somebody was literally like behind me, almost just like waiting for me to pull off that fish. And now I'm just like, well, now fuck you. I'm gonna stay here for as long as and it's like that mind game of like, if I leave, he's gonna catch that fish. Meanwhile, I've been throwing everything under the sun at this thing, and it won't even turn on it. You know what I mean? So, but no, we don't have people that will come in and, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're known for being assholes up there.
So
but
down
as
here,
far as like, you'll probably get something across the side of your head if you do that.
So there's one place out on the flats that always gets they always spawn there, and it's a community hole, but it's about I would say a half mile of grass. Yeah, like call it like a half mile square, or maybe it's like a quarter mile by like 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
The BC?
You'll have
Oh.
middle ditch.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have 100 boats in that grass bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's,
Like in
and
a
it's
big
normal. And most of the time, people are cool. It's not a problem. But then you'll get one asshole.
Right, you'll have
It's
have just enough space in between boats where it's like not quite an issue, but it's like uncomfortable. I hate fishing like that. Like
Yeah, I don't
I'll
like
go
it either.
somewhere else. Like I
Yeah,
don't care.
there was something like that on Lake Champlain last year during our tournament, because they had the Elite Series event was like 3 weeks after we were up there, so there was a bunch of guys that were up there, and like the day of the tournament, me and my cousin both had this patch of grass that we were fishing, and it was only like 50 feet long or so, but like each of us took 25 feet of it, and it was fine. And then in the tournament, we both pulled up. There were some people there And we were able to get in with enough room for the two of us. I just like went off the right side of my boat. He went off the left side of his boat. So it was pretty much like we were fishing kind of like this, right?
Right. So you were basically like next
we
to
were
each other.
we were next
casting
to each other.
opposite sides.
Yeah, casting in front and on opposite sides of each other. And at one point, a guy literally just pulled up, like almost like he wanted to tie up to my boat, and I was just like, all right, this is fucking stupid. Like, I'm out of here. So I literally left and went into this back river area, and the place was just loaded with laydowns and grass edges, and I ended up catching like 18 pounds in like an hour and a half.
Nice.
And I was like, and that's how I like if I could choose any way to fish, like, and it was going to be just as successful as anything else I would do, it would be laydowns in the water, sitting there,
Yep.
you know, pitching whatever bait at them, whether it's a
Right.
Senko or a jig or a Texas rig, you know, creature bait, whatever it might be. Like, that's what I would pick
Right.
to fish if I had to, because not only are you like, you're throwing at something, it's like satisfying when you get that like perfect cast, you know, and you're almost calling your shot, you know.
Right. Give me some laydowns and a jig, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's either that, like I'm polar opposite. Like, so I either want like laydowns, like hard cover, and you know being able to flip, or like I want to be 100 yards offshore fishing a rock pile.
Yeah.
Like that's my two favorite things to do. And I'm a pretty good grass fisherman, but I fucking hate it. Like I just don't enjoy it.
And now that I have, you know, forward-facing sonar, I've actually really come to like fishing for roaming fish.
It's so
Yeah,
much fun.
it is a lot
I
of
love
fun.
doing
You
it.
know,
It's a lot of fun.
Yes, Rhonda, our lives are stored. You can find them on our Facebook if you go to our video category, or on our YouTube. If you look over at our live category, you can see all of our live shows from top to bottom.
Yeah, that fishing for roamers is really fun.
Yeah. Because you'll find like, you know, a ball of bait, and then you're just like, all right, and you pan around, and then you're like, oh, there's 3 dots, and then all of a sudden you'll see that ball of bait, and it just gets cut in fucking half.
And then it's like
Yeah,
bait
no, it's
in
like,
the water
ooh,
right now.
All right, they're on it. They're
Right.
on it.
That's so much fun.
And then like, you know, fishing those like small groups, you know, 3 to 5 fish, is like once they start like fighting each other for the bait,
It's
like,
it's
this is
yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah.
It's like when you like, I love when you see like 2 or 3 of them together, because like, oh, like I'm catching a fish.
Oh yeah,
Right.
100%.
Like all I have to do
100%.
is see them. Like, yep, I know those are bass, and I know I'm catching one of
Yeah.
them. I just hope it's the big one.
Yeah, you
Right.
pull up and you see 3 of those fish just kind of like moving around, going back and forth, one on top of the other, one going under the other. I'm like, yeah, one of those, they're gonna rock it to whatever bait I throw in there, and they're gonna mow it.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Like fishing, like you can catch singles, but it's like so much more work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna fucking chase them down, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
firm
lot.
believer if you're on the scope and you see a ball of bait and fish are if you're fishing a bait ball with fish on it, your bait 90 in my opinion, if it's got to have a blade on it. If you like, it's got to. It just they just are drawn to it. Now I've caught them on like a regular jig head minnow when they're on bait, but if you put a blade on it, like a little finessey underspin, they're on it like every time. It's
Probably has something to do
ridiculous.
with the vibration.
I just think it
excited.
stands out more.
I'm excited to try those graph shads out. I bought a couple.
Oh yeah, I got some of
I'm
those
not-
too.
I'm not a huge fan.
No.
They're line
Only,
through like
only
right.
because they're a pain in the ass to tie on.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a bunch. I haven't thrown them yet though. I'm looking forward to it.
But like one of the guys we went to Lake Anna with in February, he was actually fishing off his kayak, but I mean that's what he was scoping his fish on. Was the graph shad. He's like, yeah, I caught all my fish on the scope on the graph shad. I was like, oh, that's cool. I caught 100 on a mooch minnow.
That mooch minnow is ridiculous.
So good. so good.
But anyway, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I was going to
We're
say,
for
we're
3
coming
hours.
up on almost a 3-hour mark, which is, we're normally about that 2-hour mark, and we're kind of ready to call it, but we just been flowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, I think we're gonna call it a huge thanks to JCS for sending us all this cool stuff, and a huge thanks to Josh for joining us. Thanks for coming down here and spending some
Oh,
time
thanks
with
for
us,
having
man.
me.
Anytime.
Dude, anytime, man. Anytime. We gotta make a run up north and just like run a live podcast out of the JCS shop when
Yes, sir.
have you come down.
Yeah.
I feel like either that or we need to get like a fishing trip together.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing
where,
trip
you know,
would be
just-
fun.
Like Champlain or St. Lawrence or
I'm down for
something.
any of those.
You guys need to take John with you when you go see Andy.
Right.
God, that would be a blast.
That would be a blast.
We're gonna stop by and visit Andy Hauser on our when we go to Wisconsin and
Looking
Tony.
forward to seeing that. I can't even imagine what that dude's like.
I don't think
on
it's gonna be.
video.
All right.
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be on. It may not be on video.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a couple
I'm sorry,
pictures.
so
from
I
you.
can't wait
We'll
to
probably
hear
get
what
some
that
pictures,
guy's
yeah.
like
It'll be-
not on video
Yeah.
because he's a savage.
Yeah, it's, we're
Absolutely
looking
savage.
forward to it.
We're gonna go follow
He's
around.
part of the reason why I wanted to get a champion. Honestly,
Yeah, he
he's
loves
part of the
champions.
reason because he's so honest and so straightforward about everything. So for him to speak so highly of those boats, actually, in my opinion, holds water.
Yeah, I would agree with
You
that.
know,
He has a brand new 203 sitting in a garage. It's
Really?
never touched the water.
oh shit.
I know.
I told
That's
him.
what I know.
I told him if I win the Bass Nation Championship, I'm going to stop by and buy it on the way home.
I don't think he's gonna sell it.
That'd be
I
awesome.
have a lot of money to throw around.
That'd be. What if he shows us? What if he shows it to us when we're up there? That'd be pretty sick.
He said it's at his house. So
I wouldn't ask him to do that. It would be sick if he did though. He's like, "Hey, you guys want to go see the champion?" Yeah. Like,
it's
yes.
It's brand new, no motor, never touched the water.
No shit.
Like perfect, like pristine,
That's wild.
like basically a brand new boat.
That's wild.
He was
So-
telling about us. He was telling us about that one night when we were talking to him.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off for tonight. We appreciate everyone that stuck with us through this longer episode, and again, a huge thank you to all the sponsors, JCS and Josh, for joining us tonight. We'll be back at you. I won't, but the crew will be back at you live next week. There's a good chance.
There it is.
There's a good chance of a river.
Backwards and hard to figure it out.
There's a good chance of a Riverboat Rob appearance next Friday. So we're
That
hoping
would be
that.
Oh,
fantastic.
next Friday, JT will be on.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Really?
Yeah,
JT's coming on next Friday.
Yep.
Let's go.
he'll be
Hell
live.
Yeah. That'll be great.
He'll be in studio. He's
Awesome.
he's
That is
come
going to be
over.
awesome. Hell
very
yeah.
cool.
To talk about the TBF National Championship, which he won.
How did that
a
slip
couple
your
weeks
mind?
ago. I told you. I already said that. I said it in the text thread.
I
like,
must have
2
just
days
not.
ago.
I must have not read that text thread.
Yeah, he's down the 25th. He's down to come on.
Great. That's cool.
So he's gonna talk. Like I said, he's gonna talk about the TBF National Championship, which he won a couple weeks ago. So that should be pretty cool. Just getting to hear about the experience of being there. I've been to a couple of national championships myself, but I've never won one. So, like, kind of cool to, find out like what goes on when you win a big tournament like that. I mean, that's it was $125,000 prize package. So.
Wow.
Like what I know I've already talked to him about a lot of stuff, so I don't want to. It's so I'll leave it for the show, but
Yeah.
there's some pretty interesting things that you don't really think about when it comes to stuff like that. So should be pretty cool.
All right, y'all.